Hello, friends, and welcome. It is March 27th, 2022. This is Virtual Strangers, episode 144. I'm your host, Wes. With me, as always, Eric. What are you doing here, man? It's Sunday. You're supposed to be in bed, bro.
I know, right? I'm kicking my foot through the door.
Well,
unstoppable. Let me in.
I'll tell you what was surprising about that, Wes. He didn't sleep at all last night. He didn't sleep on the plane. He was at the airport at like 6 or 7 p.m. In San Francisco, right? Yesterday, and then he didn't get home until like 10 a.m. today. Couldn't sleep on the plane. Was up that whole time. Took a little power nap, and Eric's back. It's crazy,
bro.
Ready to roll. I missed everybody.
I feel your pain. I wasn't on a plane last night, but I've had about an hour in the last 18 or so that I've been lying down. So I feel your pain. But, you know, you get used to it after a while, right?
We don't ever sleep anyway, do we? Any of us ever get a little bit of sleep here or there?
Yeah, actually, I was in the Sea of Thieves last night, and I was up till like 4 a.m. myself. I was just nothing monumental I was doing, but I was just you know, getting treasure. That's cool.
Yeah, I had to say thank God for you and D streaming on Twitch, and then thank God for AJ streaming over at PSVR Underground, because kept me busy, man. I had something to do and hang out and watch people play some video games, and otherwise I would have been, I don't know what I was gonna do.
Yeah, AJ's channel is awesome on Saturday night because he does requests. Like, he just plays what they tell him to play every Saturday, and it's always good.
Played a game I've never played before that I'm going to go into this week because it looked that cool. You know which one I'm talking about?
Yeah, Brookhaven Experiment. You know, he's never played Brookhaven Experiment before, Ruuts.
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah. I've even went in there, I think. I know I was pretty, I know you've raved about it, right? At least as far as how good it was as for, I guess you said it was overpriced when it came out, right? And that's why it was not received. Is that the one I'm remembering right? Or maybe you haven't played it.
I don't remember because I played it in 2017 or something like that, 2018. Like, it's been a while, man. That's one of the OG wave shooters in VR. And I remember specifically before I had played it, everyone being like, "You haven't played it?" And that was 4 years ago. So,
wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, I immediately looked it up because I'm like, oh, well, I'm going to have to go get this game. And it's $20 still today if you're going to go buy it on Steam. But thankfully, Ruuts has it in his library.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, see, there it tells you I did play it then. Man, I used to pick everything up. A long time ago, I was bad at picking up VR games, right?
When we started, Ruuts, that's how it was. Like, you literally picked everything up, and we were taking turns in the beginning just buying the games, because obviously we weren't getting review copies and stuff from the very start. It wasn't long after we started, but I mean, at the very start, we would take turns buying the games, and Ruuts would just buy them anyway, whether it was his turn or not. But just because he wanted to have all of them. And think about if you had tried to maintain that, Ruuts, all throughout the 3-year history of the show.
I'd have a lot of games.
What your life?
Yeah, I'd have a lot of
games. Be on the street, bro.
I would have lost my place, and I probably wouldn't have a PS5 because I'd have all these VR games. I'd rather have the PS5. That's the best console I've ever had, and even playing flat games. But the excitement for the VR that's coming with it. It's worth it to me.
That's kind of why we talk about it every show. It's the most exciting thing in VR, and we're going to be talking a little bit about PlayStation VR 2 as we get into today's headlines. But first, I kind of wanted to touch on with Eric. Last time we talked to you, this past Wednesday, Strangers in the Night, day one of the GDC Expo had just wrapped up, and we heard. We heard your opinion on quite a few things, but there was still quite a bit ahead of you as well. And I don't know, we've talked about a couple of things, obviously PlayStation VR being one of them. But what else kind of, I'm sure you ran into a bunch of cool stuff before you got on that flight this morning, right?
Oh yeah. And you know what? How dominant is PlayStation VR that 99% of the people there didn't see it. It still dominated everybody's thought. You know what I mean? So like there was like select few that maybe got a chance to try it or even get near it, but it still dominated everybody's thought the like 3 days of the conference. And everybody was scrambling trying to figure out where this thing was. I'm sure even developers were trying because this was like an invite only. Like you know, sometimes the media they made it sound like Shuhei Yoshida was like pulling people on off the street. That's not what's
Heck
happening here.
no.
You know what I mean? He's not walking around going, "Hey, try the PlayStation 2." I mean, these are people that are invited in
Mm.
to a secret location to test these things out. And I'm sure it wasn't even on the show floor. I'm sure it was at some swag hotel somewhere.
Just
And
Nah, bro. No, it was in the McDonald's parking lot on 5th and Main.
Well, listen to Mash though. Just because he wasn't invited, he thinks that he was out there pulling everybody. That Mash.
This man legitimately thinks that he is better than us.
Maybe it was just me. Maybe like just make sure that MASH guy doesn't get in here to try it.
So do you know? I mean, obviously you can't probably can't say for sure, but do you know anybody that was able to get in there?
Yeah, I mean, I heard through secondhand, this person spoke to that person, and somebody who did try it said that it was like trying VR all over again. You know what I
Ooh.
mean? It was like doing VR for the like we all had that moment when we tried VR that basically changed our lives, right? I mean, that's why we do what we do, and all these people that are probably watching today and putting time into listening to us talk about VR probably had those moments as well. So, for us to do that and somebody in the industry to be able to do that and then try something new and say the same thing that you had those same, you know, jaw-dropping, eye-opening moments, it makes me so excited for the PlayStation 2 VR, man.
Yeah, it's everything we knew it was going to be, right? They are who they are who we thought they were, right? Like it's as awesome as we've been speculating about for the last year plus. Um, and it's interesting, because there's new leadership at Sony this time around. Not the same group that was in charge for the PS4 launch, and they are taking a markedly different approach to marketing this time. They did the same exact thing with PS5, which is nothing. They said nothing about it, and they let people's speculation kind of run wild with them. And they've received a lot of criticism for it. Some people saying that they're lazy, or just lacking in creativity. But the fact of the matter is that people are eating it up, and literally, like you said, this for the second event in a row has kind of dominated everyone's interest. And let's remember, these aren't VR events; these are consumer electronics events. These are game development events, and this has pretty much dominated the headlines coming out of it. And for what? Because Shuhei Yoshida was hiding somewhere like a ninja with a briefcase and bringing in about 15 of his friends to check it out. And it's so good that as I'm sure he knew they would, people are out there talking about it because they just can't help it.
Paradise Decay says he heard Sony was showing off an early build of Horizon's VR game and it was blowing devs' minds. And if he heard that, I guarantee all the other influencers were hearing the same thing. And so the word gets around, and they're doing marketing in a different, like you said, a different way. And here's the thing: speculation's good as long as what you deliver meets it or exceeds.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's when the speculation runs away and you're left with a piece of shit in your hand, and people are like, "That's not what you told us it was."
You know what it's like, Roots? It's like a girl that looks really good in a bikini, but then when it comes off, everything just falls apart. Let's hope that don't happen here, right?
Or
when she's got that little bit left on, everything's left to the imagination and speculation, and it's the best thing ever. But don't always turn out that way, does it?
Spandex can be deceiving.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Yeah, for sure.
Anyway, what else, Eric? What else was on the floor? Of course, there was a bunch of crazy VR press trying to find the secret location. But outside of that, there were some devs in town as well. I mean, it was the developer conference, right?
Yeah, there was a lot of cool devs. A lot of friends of the channel. Friends of Virtual Strangers, friends of Q2C VR Gamer. So it was cool to see a lot of those people. I think we've probably spoken a few of them, but about a few of them. But we spoke to Resolution, which was amazing. We spoke to Alchemy, which was amazing. We spoke to Polyarc. It's just really, really good. It's just good to see these people in person and say, "Hey, how you doing, man? It's good to see you." And we've been talking to them for a year. You've been talking to them for longer than I have. I've been talking to them for over 2 years now, and um, it's just nice to be able to do that. And they are extremely appreciative of what we do as content creators, and it's nice because not every developer is that way, but I would say most of the ones that I saw this week are extremely appreciative of
The
you
suc
know.
the successful ones, right? Like the bigger ones. That's typically how it goes. I mean, not saying that there aren't like a million cool small, tiny 2 and 3 man teams, but it seems like the ones that have kind of been behind us the longest are the ones that you're seeing kind of separate themselves from the pack this generation, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, people like Fast Travel and Alchemy and Resolution and just people that we know what they're doing with know the value of content creators and what we're able to do in a market where not a lot of people know about everything. You know what I mean? We always talk about, look at who is it? Ivanovich Games. Nobody knows about them. You know what I mean? They need to be out there. They need content creators to help them. And just not every team does these things, and the successful ones do. And trust me, they're extremely, even the big ones, are extremely appreciative of what we're able to do for them, as we're appreciative of them to provide us content to show to all the people. So
Hmm.
it's a great symbiotic relationship if it's done well.
Absolutely. Paradise Decay says, do you know who else appreciates content creators?
My mom!
Yeah, and the content creators also appreciate her as well. A lot.
Very much.
A lot.
A lot.
At the same time.
Yes.
Um,
Oh, God.
You did get a demo a few things, right? And I don't know how much. Is there any of that stuff you're actually allowed to talk about? What about the? We talked about that sword fighting game, that upcoming sword fighting game from the devs of Swords of Gargantua last week. It was called Altair Breakers or something like that. You had a chance to check that one out, didn't you?
Yeah, Altair Breaker from Third Verse, man, which is the guys behind Swords of Gargantua, and this game's cool, and I did demo it. They had a really good playable demo on the floor, and I got a good interview with them. And game's super cool, super polished. And I was playing the Steam version game, but they do have a complete Quest 2 version available. It is only Quest 2, not Quest 1, which I think is probably pretty much going to be all these new games now. But I was playing the Steam version, and it is gorgeous. It's a beautiful game. The combat's fast. They have these effects, like you remember old style like beat 'em up games where you could do that juggle effect where you would come in and you would hammer an enemy and then you'd hammer him up into the air, and then you could dash in and you could hit him like several times to make these huge combos. It has that in it, man. It has that cool effect where you can do that. And I mean, the Swords of Gargantua is a great game. I mean, they do melee right, this team. So yeah, it's going to be really good. I'm looking forward to it. And the game's super polished already. I think it's not going to be long until we see it.
Oh, cool. That's crazy.
Yeah, it looked polished from the footage that we got to check out last week. The little bit that we could see. I was kind of taken aback by it, to be quite honest, because I would think, call me crazy, but if the Swords of Gargantua devs were going to do another sword fighting game, I would have expected a sequel. So it was kind of like, oh, there's another sword fight. Oh, it's from them. Okay, well, I guess it's a spiritual sequel, if nothing else, right? Because of just the general gameplay loop, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And what was the coolest thing is I got into the middle of the demo, and at one point I looked over and I'm like, oh, there's an NPC here that's helping me. And they're like, no, that's not an NPC. That's the person that's standing right next to you. That's you're co-oping with them. So co-op, which is super cool, man. And some of these
Well, I always
bosses, some of the bosses that you need to take down later, they said you can't beat them on your own, or it would be extremely difficult to beat on your own. You're gonna have to have help. So we like to see that, right?
I like the I like the sound of that. I always hate it. Co-op's great. It's kind of like the bacon of video games. It just makes everything better. But it does kind of suck when the difficulty doesn't scale. You bring in a party of people with you, and the game is just exactly the same, and it just gets real easy. Which
Right.
it's fun still hanging out with people. but you kind of like to see this where there's just certain parts of it, like they're going to make you co-op this game and you're not going to beat it, bro.
Right. Well, what I think it just seems like they do that a lot, right, with those type of games. But I don't know. I forgot what I was going to say. Damn it, it was good too.
It's a good, it's kind of a good thing, Roots, that you forgot what you had to say, because we're still in intro here, bro,
yeah,
and we have a lot to talk about. It is the last week of March.
Ooh.
And man, what a month! This month has just pummeled us into the ground with news and new games, and it's not stopping yet, man. Like typically, this Wednesday show, The Strangers in the Night, it's going to fall on the 30th. Typically, or at least half the time, we would just go ahead and do Game of the Month. Not this month. Not this month. We can't, because March don't stop until the 31st this month. And we're going to talk about that in the reminders, too. We have a full section of reminders, stuff that's coming out this week. So, dudes, we might need to take 2 months just to play all the March stuff and then come back and name a Game of the Month this month, because I don't see how in the world we're going to get to all of these awesome games that came out.
Well, especially since there's a good chance April's going to not be any better, and you know what I mean. So we're just going to be continue getting deeper and deeper in this thing. Which, Mash, you need to get into the Pimax and check that out. So
yeah, that's my main focus this week. My main focus this week is all I'm doing this week is editing footage from GDC and playing with my Pimax. So
yeah, and who else wants to play with your Pimax? My mom. I told her you're married. Leave him alone.
Over.
Yeah, she can still come over, hang out, right?
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, we do have a full gamut of headlines to run down this week, so let's go ahead and kick it off the way we always do, by saying hello to our friends in chat. Corporate Zombie just showed up right in time. Hello, everyone, he says. Hello, Corporate Zombie. Michelle B says it sucks for Q1 peeps, but backward compatibility is probably it sucks for Quest 1 peeps, but backward compatibility is probably the quality issue on Quest 2. Games are only as good as their weakest link, and the fact of the matter is that Quest 1 is leagues behind Quest 2, and it almost precludes itself, and literally precludes itself, just based on the fact that it can't keep up. And you could either choose to I don't know how many of those headsets are even being used anymore. I'm sure people that bought them, there are a few still out there using them, but I mean, in the overall grand scale of things, like we're talking about a very small fraction of the market. It really doesn't benefit developers to limit their games just to bring everyone along, right?
Yeah, they're all playing Beat Saber anyway.
Yeah. Well, and the biggest case to have them, as Wes has said in the past, was to have them for PCVR, and that's even starting to become slim pickings as far as with all these other headsets are coming out that are so much better. And I guess Onakaze is saying the same thing, that he would like to see what the difference of people that are actually using the Quest ones, right? Because I think it is pretty slim, like you said, Wes.
Well, Quest 1 is, honestly, it is good for that. Like, if you could find one on Facebook Marketplace in great condition and not very much money, it is still a very good PC VR headset. As long as you're not leaning on those internals, then you're good. Fact of the matter is it has an OLED screen and the Quest 2 don't. It's like the one place that it has an advantage, and it absolutely shows in certain games, in dark games, dimly lit games. That OLED makes a pretty big difference. But yeah, I mean, I don't see. I mean, it's not like nothing's coming out for Quest 1. It's still getting support. It's just, I'd say it's 2-1 Quest 2 right now, and I can't say that I can really blame developers for moving on as quickly.
Well, we're at the point now too where I don't, when I'm seeing a game release, I don't want to see Quest 1 compatible anymore, right? I want to see, because I want to see what the Quest 2 can do. We probably still have not seen the full potential of what they can do until we get probably into another year or so of development cycle. So, when I see Quest 1 compatible, I know that they're going to be nerfed in some way. They're going to have to be. There's no way that they can actually do exactly what they want to do. So, yeah, I don't really want to, this is selfish on my part. I'm sorry, but I just don't want to see it anymore.
Yeah.
Or you can do, I mean, we could do a whole episode on that. I'm going to cut myself off before I keep going. Hussein X is in the chat. Hello, Hussein X. Chris9989 says the SDE on Quest 1 is pretty brutal. Though, I mean, by today's standards, yeah, probably. It's noticeable for sure. Let's see, who else is here? Here's Mepper. What's up, bro? Onakazi says, I would like to see the number of Quest owners who did not upgrade. That I was actually thinking the same thing when I was saying that a minute ago. Like, I wonder how many people stuck with it, said, "No, man, I'm not throwing down 300 more. I just bought this," and how many people succumbed to that spec sheet, like most of us did, right?
Well, the smart ones did what you did, Wes, and they got rid of their Quest 1 and used the money to get the Quest 2, and then it's like you're just upgrading for a little bit of money. So.
Yeah, they were scarce. Quest 1s were not plentiful at the time Quest 2 came out. It's a bigger reason why Quest 2 did come out, was because they were way more manufacturable. But, Quest 1 had some demand when Quest 2 launched, but it quickly diminished after people learned about Quest 2. And, it was kind of over at that point. It didn't take very long at all.
No.
PD's here. I think we already said hello to PD. What's up, bro? Who else? Ray Delator. Hello, friend. Thanks for hanging out with us today. Alex. What's up, Alex? Good to see you as well, man. Good to see you. I guess Alex is probably just getting home as well, right? From the San Francisco?
I heard a little secret that he's meeting with the ATF people tomorrow.
Really?
Tell them to fix my game, bro.
Yeah,
we'll talk about
Don't
that in a
even
little
get
while.
me started.
Yeah, well, we're going to get started because we're going to be talking a little bit about it, but I was thinking the same thing, Wes. I'm like ready to talk a little bit about it because I haven't gone into it for many reasons.
You might want to wait, bro. You might want to wait. But who knows? It might be great for you. I'm on G2. We'll talk about it in a little while. It's not good. It's not good at all. The map's good, but there's a lot to talk about. Space Innocence here. Hello, friend Lee VR. He says, "Good morning, Ruuts."
Oh, good morning. Gamertag just came in. He says, "I mean, howdy, so tired this weekend." Yeah, that's a theme. Mash and I were just saying how tired we are. For sure.
We're all tired, bro.
Yeah, and Wes.
I'm not even going to remember this tomorrow, man. It's like that.
If you're that tired, we got
We got to rewatch it.
It's all right. I can do this in my sleep, bro. I do it in my sleep all the time, actually.
Actually, we've got proof that you've done it
Yeah.
in your sleep. That's 2021 show.
That's the real secret is you actually don't.
Oh, that's right.
Because
It got cut off.
because YouTube got rid of that last couple hours, right?
Yeah,
It was
right.
YouTube.
Yeah, it was YouTube.
Wes was hitting the erase button.
EV Man versus Gas is among us. Hello. Funky Sloth is up there, the funkiest sloth I've seen all day. Guido 7335. So he's like the antithesis of Traveling Man 3775. He's Guido 7335.
Oh, yeah, that's crazy, right?
You guys take it outside. Don't be fighting in the chat, okay?
Yeah, don't become Kyle and Felipe, man. They're always duking it out, right? I'm still trying to decide who's better. Kyle or Felipe?
Well,
Felipe definitely thinks he's better.
Felipe's here. Felipe's
that's
here,
right. Felipe's better than right there. What's up, Felipe?
Felipe's so vain he thinks the show is about him.
Well, we're talking about him. It must be about him, right?
That's true.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, that's what people are tuning in for. Nobody wants to hear about GDC. They just want to see what Felipe's nickname is this week.
GDC's old news, bro.
It is added. It's an added bonus.
Hello, GT. Hello, Mark Caldwell. Getting in right there at the end. And yeah, let's talk some VR, guys. Let's get warmed up on a little bit of hardware like we typically do each week. Although I did try to limit it. We went almost 4 hours last week, Ruuts.
Oh, that's crazy.
I can't do 4 hours today.
Well, we added Eric, so
you're in trouble.
Well, we're gonna have to move.
We're
gonna have to chug right along. But so I cut back the hardware stories to just one because I know it's going to take up a little bit of our time. GDC 2022 provided a glimpse into the future of PSVR 2 games. And I kind of put this on here. I'm not going to sit here and read through the whole article. Actually, AJ did that during an interactive chat on PSVR Underground yesterday, and he did a great job. And I don't have a whole lot to add to that, but we do have a few things. So we're going to touch on a couple of items here, mainly about what was said during the talk that Unity put on regarding PSVR 2 development. But also, I mean, in case you've been living in a box this past week, we kind of touched on it at the top of the show. We've had a few developers who had a chance to check out PSVR 2 this past week, and some of them were so moved by it they just could not silence themselves. You know, truth be told, they probably had a little blessing behind the scenes anyway to go ahead and say something. But as you were saying, Eric, I mean, it's just been people have just been floored by this thing, like it's they're trying out VR again for the first time, right?
Yeah, I mean, everybody was talking about it as soon as it kind of hit that it was there. People were going crazy. Everybody was talking about it on the show floor. Which again, like you said earlier, this is not a VR show. In fact, probably 80% of this that you see at GDC is not virtual reality or augmented reality. It's all flat gaming mainly, with some products mixed in. So to hear that mainly everybody at the show was talking about virtual reality in a time where they may not have, and the freaking thing is not even there. This is just a hint. This is a whiff. This is a whiff of PlayStation VR 2, and it has the entire show talking about it, flat and virtual reality people. So yeah, I mean, it's just such a big deal, and I can't state enough, how number one, Sony has a hold on the market. They just do. No matter what they do, they have a hold on the market, and whatever Meta does, Sony doesn't care, man. That's why they don't put this out there. Do you think if they cared about what Meta does, that Sony would not have shown this thing? And they could have blown the show. They could have blown the show out of the water, and they could have said, "Look, we're not even going to release this until Q1 2023. But guess what? We're going to show it here if you want to come take a look at it." And they would have dominated the entire show. But they don't care. That's why people are like, "Oh, they're lazy with their advertising." They don't care, dude. They're going to sell millions of these no matter what they do. We're talking about it, and nothing even happened, and they're talking about it. They did a talk on the last day of the conference. Unity did a talk about developing for PlayStation 2 using Unity, and I did talks all week long. This was the only one that they had to turn people away from at the door to get in. So you had to make sure you had a seat. People wanted in on PlayStation 2 VR.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of I mean, if this is any kind of an indicator as to what the consumer public demand is going to be, this thing is going to be a huge success right out the gate. But we don't know yet, because it is largely tech people that are lining up, and people like us, people in the know. But I can say from experience that people people know about this. Non-VR gamers know about this. Now, maybe Joe and Sally Walmart not aware of it yet, but that's okay, because that's not really their crowd. PlayStation is a gaming brand, and gamers know about PlayStation VR too, even traditional gamers who have never even tried VR. So I do think this is going to be wildly successful. But the leaks, if you will, or impressions on the demos that went out last week, everyone already knows kind of about this Chet Falasek, who used to be someone who worked at Steam, someone who's known for being kind of a PCVR snob, for lack of a better term. He's very critical about VR and where it's going. But I'm sure you guys have already heard this quote. He said he had one of those VR moments today playing the new PSVR 2 headset. And he says, where the world just feels different when you return. You remember, Ruuts, what that felt like? That's like the early days. That was kind of like my experience with the original PSVR. And we've said it before, kind of the reason, half of the excitement for PSVR 2 is that we might get to relive that experience that we had with PSVR 1, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's going to be, like, we're going to have that same moment. And this guy, it sounds like he was kind of knew about VR, maybe tried it, wasn't really impressed. And here's the thing, flat gamers, VR gamers, this has been my stress for the last year and a half. Like, we all want AAA level games in VR. And so I guarantee that's the biggest thing, man. Like, when you go into these VR experiences or games, the reason why it feels different when you come out is you're so immersed that you absolutely forget that you're in VR. And when you come out, it's like, oh, I mean, things just look different, weird. You feel weird, right? And so the amount of level of immersion, whether it be just from being in there and seeing the world, hearing that Tempest audio, feeling the vibrations, feeling the vibrations in your head, playing the whatever experience or game, if it really was Horizon, the gameplay loop, what I've been experiencing with Elden Ring, like the gameplay feeling so fun. Like, I haven't played a game that it was so fun to me that I want to just play it all the time. And then you bring that into VR. Oh my God, I am going to absolutely come out of my headset feeling like I'm in a different world. I've probably for weeks, and I'm excited about it.
Yeah, we're all just we can't wait. That's the reason why people were just so devastated by the news that this thing's coming 3 months later than we thought it was going to. Like, it was like the end of the world there until just very recently, when people have kind of started to accept it. But yeah, we're all very excited about it, and obviously the more we hear about it, the more those feelings are validated. But beyond kind of what people's impressions were of their demo, we were able to glean a few bits of actual solid new information about the headset through this Unity talk that Eric got to attend. And he shared with me a lot of what was talked about there. But there was a few things that really stuck out to me, as you know, there was really a lot said in it. But a lot of what was said with regards to the kind of the applications of the technology are things we've already speculated about, and we've kind of got validation that these features were going to be used in the ways that we knew that they were going to be used. But we do have some hard and fast new information with regards to eye tracking and the specific application of eye tracking to be used in conjunction with foveated rendering. And as you can see there, we've got a few snapshots of some of the screens, even though they seem to be rotated 90 degrees to the side there. You guys can kind of see what was talked about. And actually, I'm going to bring these up on my screen here so I can read them. And we'll talk a little bit about what's actually new and what's being said. Obviously, with this slide, it says that eye tracking increases performance by using foveated rendering, as we all knew. It sets standards for developers to rely on with eye tracking based functionality, and it immerses players with new forms of gameplay and increase the feeling of presence in the games. And that's kind of the promise of this headset, right? That it's going to increase the feeling of presence in the games, not just with this headset, but with PS5. It's kind of a mantra for the PS5 generation. Immersive gaming. It's kind of what Sony is going for this gen. If we take a look at the next one here, Ruuts, it goes into a little bit more detail with regards to what kind of performance enhancement is going to come through the new eye tracking functionality. It says foveated rendering helps with more efficient GPU usage, which allows for more content or effects, increased resolution, higher refresh rate, gives room to the GPU for high demand scenes. Or if a developer doesn't need to take advantage of any of that, they can just opt to reduce the power usage of the GPU and kind of save that not only the electricity, but the heat generated from using that electricity. But we all kind of knew all this already, right? And one of the things that, as I hear people talk about these slides this week, one of the things I think are kind of going over some people's head is that foveated rendering has been used since the very first day of Oculus Rift and HTC Vive. Like, this is not anything new. what's new is the additional gains that we're going to be getting from being able to tell where people are looking. And as we're about to see with some of these next few slides that have actual hard numbers on them, it's going to be a big deal, especially when, you know, paired with the powerful PlayStation 5 console. It's going to be a profound thing. And I, you know, within, what would you say, Eric? Within a year and a half, all new headsets are going to be using eye tracking for this, as well as all the other applications.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, as we get as these headsets get better, though, you have to understand that we're what we expect out of them is more too, right? So, you know, one of the biggest things with eye tracking is to save on power, and we need to make these experiences the best we can. So, you know, eye tracking is going to be a huge factor in just trying to, you know, reduce the amount of power that we need to focus in one spot so we can use it in another and you know, somewhere else. So yeah, I mean, and look at the Cambria. Cambria has already come out and said they're going to be using eye tracking. So I think before long, I mean, it's going to be the norm. Every headset is going to have eye tracking.
Yeah, and Roots, as we look at the next screen here, it kind of spells out for you what foveated rendering or eye tracked foveated rendering does, which is basically what foveated rendering has always done, but with the added benefit of being able to move with your eyes. PSVR 2 hardware can track eye gaze for even more graphics optimizations. It renders at high quality in the precise screen area where the player is looking. And that's the important part, right? Not only for, you know, gains with regards to performance, but I mean, it's a pretty big thing, isn't it, Roots? That, you know, with the foveated rendering we have today, it's very noticeable, right? Around your periphery gets blurry. If you're on Quest, there's even like sometimes there's like these square lines that you notice. And beyond the extra performance that we're going to be gaining from the eye tracking, the fact that this foveated rendering line is going to be constantly in movement with your eyes means that we're not going to be able to notice it so much anymore, right?
Right. Yeah. And a lot of people say they don't notice it. And I get that, but like you notice it every single time. Like sometimes it's like a trick. Once you notice it one time, your eyes are always going to notice it. Right. And just to get rid of that, that's going to be amazing.
Especially on PlayStation VR, right? Like it's a pretty big part of the reason why VR even works on PS4 in the first place is because they heavily use techniques such as foveated rendering in order to be able to get the most out of those, you know, at this point 7-8-year-old consoles.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what kind of a difference is this foveated rendering make, and what kind of a difference does eye tracking make to foveated rendering? Well, here's basically some very broad numbers that Unity puts forth. Using foveated rendering means that your GPU performance-wise operates 2.5 times faster when you're using foveated rendering. Like this is frame times, GPU frame times. Again, though, we have to remember this 2.5 times. This is talking about technology that's already in use. This isn't something new. This is something we've always had, this 2.5 times. What the real difference is when you look to the right there, the 3.5 times is the new ability of foveated rendering when it uses eye tracking to be able to know exactly where you're looking at all times. So basically, we're getting a gain here. And this obviously is going to vary from application to application. But in this example, what an extra one time. So basically, let's say a third, just shy of a third of the performance that we were already saving with foveated rendering added on top of that. So while it's not like this big, massive, 200% jump like a lot of people thought it would be, it's going to be a noticeable difference, isn't it, Eric?
Yeah, I mean, the numbers we're seeing here, I mean, it's tough for us to correlate that number to what it looks like in game because we're not developers. But I can tell you that the developers were excited about these numbers because I wasn't the only one taking these shots. Everybody in the room was doing this exact same thing. So they were impressed with it. So yeah, I mean, I think, what you're going to be able to see out of this is going to be huge gains on screen. Again, number wise, it's tough for us to correlate numbers, but huge gains on screen.
Well, I mean, the improvement is not just, like, I mean, it's going to make the frames are dropping significantly, right? Like, that's the biggest thing. If they can make it across the board smooth for people, like even myself, if you get choppy frames, that's the one thing that will make me feel somewhat weird in VR. So, I mean, if you can eliminate that completely, which it seems like this whole thing is going to do, it's going to make it easier for everybody to feel better in VR, right?
Yeah, those extra frames make a difference, not only with regards to immersion, but like you said, with regards to comfort and the overall quality of the experience. And when you pair those extra frames with the fact that you're not going to be able to notice that foveated rendering line anymore in your peripheral, you're talking about a huge jump in kind of realism. And that's not even to consider the fact that we're going to have 4K HDR OLED panels in behind this thing. I mean, it's going to be insanity. We do have a few more frames here, which is basically more of the same, different tests that have been run using this eye tracking tech. We've got some hard statistics here. Looks like you're on Scene 2. Scene 2 is a known benchmarking application called VR Alchemy Lab. As you can see there, they give you the frame time for the standard render without any foveated renderings, 33.2 milliseconds. You can see immediately when they enable foveated rendering, that cuts less than half of what it originally was, which is a huge gain. But when they add the eye tracking in at the end, it really, in this instance, it didn't make all of that much of a difference. But again, as we said a moment ago, every little bit counts. I kind of feel like, though, this is on the low end, obviously the extreme low end of what we can expect with this tech.
Well, that's what Eric was saying before the show, right? Is the devs, like, if the devs are really good, they're going to be pushing this and you're going to see significant gains. Just like everything else, if the developers take the time to optimize, it's going to make it that much better, right? So.
Yeah, I mean, this is Unity's first crack at this, right? You know what I mean?
Well, we assume that, right? We don't know how long they've had it, but yeah. Onakazi in the chat says URP template, the construction scene. So I think he was talking about Scene 1. That's the Unity Universal Rendering Pipeline template. And you're right, it's not a very busy or demanding example, and that's why we saw such different numbers with this one. Again, from going from standard to basic foveated rendering, again, which is a tech we've had for a long time, a profound impact, right? Less than half, notably less than half, about 40% of the original times. But then when you add in that eye tracking, it's a little bit more of a jump this time than we saw with the VR Alchemy Lab.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And I think we had one more set, didn't we? One more set of stats. The spaceship demo, which I don't even know what this is. I'm sure it's some kind of a Unity thing. It says running at native 4K on PS5. You can see there GPU frame times going from 14.3 to 12.5, 14% faster. CPU, 32% faster. So a little bit bigger of a break on the CPU. But I think the moral of the story here, again, is first of all, eye tracking, just one application, or foveated rendering, dynamic foveated rendering, just one application of eye tracking. And there's a list about this long that we're not going to get into again because we've talked about it at length at this point. But Ruuts, I think that this is significant in a couple of ways. First of all, one, this is the first time where we've ever seen any really hard, fast numbers with just exactly what kind of a difference that dynamic foveated rendering is going to make. And it's a noticeable difference, even if it isn't going to be like this groundbreaking thing. But more importantly, well, not maybe more importantly, but in addition to that, I'm sure you remember a few weeks ago when people kind of heard this leak or this rumor that maybe Sony's in negotiations right now with Toby to kind of nail down the eye tracking tech. And I think this kind of puts that to bed because a lot of people were speculating that maybe the eye tracking tech hadn't been fully developed yet, or maybe that they're just kind of getting started on that side of it. Obviously, if that were the case, then Unity wouldn't have all of these, robust, well documented, and easy to read examples of what kind of a difference this is going to make. Obviously, eye tracking has been working in this application for quite some time, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Or else they wouldn't have these numbers out there. They would be cagey about it. And we wouldn't have heard anything. They didn't have to, like Eric said, everything else they didn't let us know. I mean, this is just letting everybody know, okay, this is what what it's possible or what capable of. And I just think it's exciting, man. I know there's a lot of people feel like we're drinking the Kool-Aid, right? Or like we're overly optimistic when it comes to PlayStation 5. I just feel like I said, I feel like for most people, the horizon is foggy and they can't see. And for the fog cleared for me and I can see it before my eyes. And I could be wrong, but I think this is going to blow everybody away. And I get so excited about this tech. And I don't get too excited about much tech these days. So I think it's going to blow people away.
Yeah, and just remember too that what we're talking about right here and this foveated rendering and eye tracking is exactly what the Xtal 3 was touting at CES, and that's a $10,000 headset. You know what I mean? So the tech that we are going to see in this is for a consumer headset is one that we have to date we have not yet seen yet. We'll see if something comes out before then, but to date we haven't seen this yet in a consumer headset.
Exponential growth in this area, just like we always said it would be, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, looks like Scion's joining us. What's up, friend? Thanks for stopping by. I don't know. I'm excited about it. Obviously, this is the hottest thing in VR. I'd like to say this year is going to take forever to go by, but obviously I don't think that's the case. I think this year's going to fly by. If March is any kind of an indicator, 2023 is going to be here in about 10 minutes. So, go get a cup of coffee and come right back and we'll have our PlayStation VR 2.
Yeah, time's flying.
Anyway, let's move on from this or else we're going to get bogged down in it for another 4 hours. But before we move on, I do want to thank Hussein X for the 390. What is that? Quid, pounds? We'll call them UK dollars. 390 UK dollars. He says thanks for the live shows. Well, thank you for showing up. Hussein X been a regular viewer of the live shows for some time now, and we very much appreciate you, bro, and appreciate the support there.
Here's a reality. The live shows don't happen without the audience. You know what I mean? Like if nobody showed up, we might not be doing live. So we appreciate you for sure.
100%.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Anyway, let's talk a little bit about Metaverse. The buzzword of the decade, the Metaverse. We have our weekly big number story of the week. We've been giving one of these headlines each week where some company has invested some astronomical amount of money into our space, and this week was a big one as Qualcomm creates a $100 million Metaverse fund for XR developers. Ruuts, it's just another one, right? We see this every single week. People, spending multiple millions of dollars just on the idea or the concept of the Metaverse. People, I mean, they've decided, right? This is going to happen whether people want it or not.
Yeah, absolutely. And every time a news article like this happens, other companies see it, and there's that tipping point, right, where you don't want to get left behind. And I think we're already almost there, if not already at that point where a lot of these companies that might have been dragging their feet, Xbox, they're going to be like, they're going to feel the pressure to get in, right? And it's crazy to a lot of people. They don't see that. Like I said, they want to jack us into this world and to where you literally have this asset in VR and you feel like you're there. And I believe this technology is going to exist, and people are going to feel foolish for not getting in on the ground level when it comes to the real estate. Now, that being said, what is going to be real estate and what's not is the question, because you might buy something you think is
fake
good.
estate.
Yeah, you might get something that you
Yeah.
think is good today, and then a year from now it's garbage, and the real shit goes, and you're like, what happened? I think a lot of people are going to get It's kind of like cryptos, right? You got to get the right one. So
Right, exactly. And then who knows what's going to determine that.
yeah.
Paradise Decay says, is VR dead yet? Not anymore, bro. Apparently
Linus.
not anymore.
Linus said it is, I think. Again. I'm just
kidding. Eric, I'm wondering when, I mean, we do one of these stories every week, and I just kind of started doing it a month and a half ago just to show people what I'm reading week after week after week. It's been like this since October.
We should take a minute and add up all the billions of dollars that everybody has been pledging, dude, just to see. I want to see a total number of how much money that we have seen pledged or put into the metaverse term by different companies in the last year.
Yeah, I know it's kind of ridiculous, and I'm wondering when, because a lot of these people or these companies that are investing this money are just kind of putting it forth toward the idea without really giving any kind of real thought as to what they're actually investing in. When are some of these guys going to recognize what's happening here and put some of this money behind some of these smaller game development teams that are doing amazing work, but really are being limited by the amount of funding and time that they have to put into their projects. Like we see great projects all the time that could really use this kind of money, but instead it just goes to these kind of funds or this thing, this, that, or the other thing. We need to get some of this love to our dead friends, don't we?
Yeah, and it's, you know what happens is none of these freaking people even know what metaverse is. It's a buzzword right now, so they're
Right.
it's these money
Nobody does.
people. No, it's a buzzword. So you get these money people that just that's what they do for a living. They invest in buzzwords. They invest in ideas and thoughts. Most of them have no clue what it is or where it can come from. And the people that are actually on the ground floor building it never see a dime of this money. You know what I mean? So yeah, go do some Kickstarters. That's where you need to be. Go do some Kickstarters with some of these companies that have these amazing ideas. And I can give you probably about 30 examples of companies that I saw this past week that are really innovating and really putting some amazing things into virtual reality and really have a good idea of what metaverse can be and what it is. And it's not just a buzzword, a bougie buzzword for these people to dump billions of dollars behind and hope that something comes out of it.
That'd be a good video for QTC VR Gamer. 5 to 10 of the best Kickstarters to invest in for VR.
I agree.
And I should be clear here. When I say that a lot of these big companies are squandering money on unproven concepts or fluff, I don't mean Qualcomm. I guess I should clarify that because we are talking about this Qualcomm story where they're creating this $100 million metaverse fund for developers. This is what I want. I want funds for developers, and that's exactly what Qualcomm's doing. And we're going to look at an example of that in our next headline. But first, some of the other stories, other big headlines, other big numbers that that we're not going to do segments on this week. There was one that said surgery training platform Oso VR secures $66 million in Series C financing. So that's basically just training for surgeons in VR. $66 million to develop that, which is awesome. Especially if that's your field. It's going to be a way for doctors to learn other than the only way you learn is to make mistakes, and it's better to make mistakes in VR. Right?
Learn by malpractice.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Another headline reads, FOV Ventures raises $18 million to fund European metaverse startups. So this is what I'm talking about. Just this generic idea, $18 million for metaverse startups. Like, Ruuts, I think we need to create a metaverse startup real quick.
It's funny, dude, because that's exactly what my mind was just thinking. Like, I'm doing the wrong thing, dude. These people that get grants from the government to do this or that. How amazing would it be to do a metaverse startup with 18 million? I bet you I could come up with some really cool things. And if not, you'll never see me again, and I'll live the high life on 18 million, bro.
Dude, all you need is some cool pictures, a catchy name, and something with metaverse in the title, and you're a billionaire.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds cool, man.
Well, Eric, in a way, isn't what we're doing kind of considered a metaverse startup? I mean,
That's true.
I mean, we're in the metaverse, right? We're covering it.
Yeah, hell yeah. Yeah, we're in it more than most of these people that are investing in it are.
And these,
we're in it
Yeah.
we're in it every day.
the patrons are investing every month, right?
You know what we need to do? We just need to get together with all of our friends, our good friends, PD, GT, Skiva, Alex, Brian and AJ. We all needed to get together and kind of just incorporate, create an LLC. It only takes a few $100, and now we're a metaverse startup. And whichever one of us talks the best and looks the best in a suit, we got to send them out there to get some of these millions for us, man. And then we'll take the world over, the VR world anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. I say we send Mash and Alex out. I think between them two, they would just get it, rock that.
Todd, I think we should send Todd, but he has to shave first, right?
By accident, half his beard.
That's why I'm afraid to get my beard trimmed. I want to get it like shaped, but I'm afraid someone's gonna mess it up, Wes. It's gonna happen soon, but
it's scary, right? It's scary, right? You have to mess it up, once, then you have to kind of start all over again.
Yeah, the level of trust.
Onikazi's thinking already. Look at him. He's like trademark Cineverse. We bring synergy to the metaverse.
That's
like
right.
It. Tagline.
I like it. Onikazi can be our marketing guy. Come on in, bro. Let's go ahead and look at the next headline because it does pertain to the last one. Square Enix wants to innovate on classic genres to create XR experiences. And if you look at the subheadline, Square will leverage Qualcomm's Snapdragon Spaces platform to explore the world of extended reality. So basically, this is Square Enix, developers of classics as like Final Fantasy. It's a pretty big one, right? Final Fantasy. They're buying into the metaverse. They're carving out their own space, and they're doing it in conjunction with Qualcomm. And this is exactly this is where their hundreds of millions are going. And when you're talking about bringing in companies like Square Enix, that 100 million is not actually going to go all that far.
Yeah,
no, it'll be going for them. For them, that's a drop in the bucket.
Yeah. This is a huge company. It's a huge deal. We talked about, I think it was Bandai Namco doing something similar to this last week. From what I understand, this is going to focus largely on augmented reality. But you know what? The more time goes along, the more excited I get for augmented reality, because I understand that about 5 minutes after augmented reality gets really good, then it's just going to become a feature on our headsets as well. It's all the same to me. AR, VR. When I read about companies like this diving in, I get excited because it means that mainstream AAA game developers are buying in to VR. That's basically what it means. Even if it doesn't mean that Final Fantasy VR is coming tomorrow, it means that they believe in the tech, and that's a foundation to build on.
Yeah, it's all XR. XR is our term for now. That's where we want to be. We want to be XR is both. It's AR and VR. And to really moving forward, and if you look at mainly all these companies, even the ones that are touting AR, most of them have VR in there at some point. It's just that AR is like the catchy part right now. So it's the one that they want to show off the most. Just like Lynx R1. They have a great VR system that you can transition in between the VR and AR, but you see mainly the AR in all their demos because that's the catchy one. But you can just as easily, and I transitioned into it live in a demo where I walked into a sphere where I was completely wrapped and in a universe in virtual reality, and then I walked out of it, and now I'm back in AR where I'm back in my own reality with overlays on it. So that is our sweet spot. That's where we all want to be.
Right. And that's the thing. They've already got our attention. The VR enthusiasts, the people that are into VR, they've already got us looking. Now they're marketing more towards the businessmen or the AR app, even though it's all together. And it's smart, because like I said, we're already looking and we're seeing how cool it is. And that's cool.
Speaking of AR, let's go ahead and look at the next headline. Snap acquires brain-computer interface startup NextMind. Now, this was interesting to me on two fronts. First of all, NextMind. I don't know if you guys remember NextMind, but about a year, maybe a year and a half ago, this demo of this BCI device went around and made the rounds on YouTube, and many of our friends got a chance to use this. And you'll remember there was this game where these aliens came out, and I could be wrong about this. I'm operating purely from memory, so if I'm wrong, I'm sure I'm going to get crucified for it. But if I'm not mistaken, NextMind are the people that brought that demo where the aliens come out and you think about shooting them. You just focus on it, and then the game kills them. It was very rudimentary demonstration of the potential of BCI. But that's notable here because they're being picked up by a larger company called Snap, and Snap is pretty much discontinuing that project. So as cool and as promising as that was, no more. And why are they picking up NextMind then? Well, they're basically going to shift their focus to building AR devices, which is what Snap does. And apparently they're getting very close to having something really, really good here. And that's what NextMind is going to be working on, is kind of bringing their product to the next level.
Wow, that's cool. Well, what's good about it is, like it didn't, what their initial thing, what they were, Snap was going to do, what I guess didn't, they've decided to shift focus, and somebody else is going to take this company and utilize what they, everything that they've done and push the industry forward. So that's cool.
Yeah, but it's not like this BCI tech's going to disappear forever either, is it, Eric? I mean, it's done. People have the science out there. They know how they did this. It wasn't actually, it wasn't all that profound what they did. This is pretty standard medical equipment, kind of having the form factor shifted and some custom software written for it. But it's not like Gabe Newell is going to stop now because NextMind got picked up by Snap, is it?
No, I mean, you're going to have the big boys still doing it. It is a little concerning, though, with BCI that we've seen companies pivot off it now. Even Meta pivoted off of BCI technology to go to more of a movement interface with your wrist instead of using the BCI that they were working on, the brain technology. So the big boys are still working on this. It's still probably going to be exactly where everything's going to go eventually, but it is funny to see some of these guys pivoting now off of it.
Well,
yeah, and sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say there's no reason to do it. They can do the same thing through the wrist, and it's a lot less invasive. As far as maybe there's even more stuff. My thinking is their chip's going in your head for this eventually, a year or two, 5 years down the road, and they realize that that's happening. So it's kind of skipping a step and focusing on something else. At least that's my thinking.
Right. Well, they understand that this tech, another way of saying what you just said is this tech is still a little ways away from being fully developed, and it's going to take a while. So they're shifting focus on something that's more practical, something that's a little bit closer to coming to market, and they're kind of taking the Microsoft approach here, and they'll jump back in when the time is right. I'll tell you what, though, man, Gaben's not getting out. He's going to see it through. He'll make sure that it gets here a few years quicker than it would have otherwise.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and we already know what's his name's working on it too. What's the other guy? Can't remember his name now, but the other big guy that he's always done.
Elon Musk.
Elon Musk. There you go. Thank you. We know he's into it as well. So
he's already said they're going to be putting chips in people's brains at malls and stuff. I think he said that was going to be last year or this year. So they're planning on it.
Yeah, there are people now that have Elon Musk's chip in their head. There are people now that have that. Not many. I know they showed a sheep off during their last showcase and showed how their product works. But that was forever ago. I've got to imagine that human trials have probably begun by now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Going to get mine next week.
Yeah, no, mine was last year, bro. I'm gonna melt down on camera.
Just a quick reminder, everybody, in case you didn't know, Meta is nudging VR dev Snap. I'm sorry, hold on. That don't read. Those words don't make sense to me. Meta is nudging VR dev Snap. Okay, I've actually messed this thing up. Let me click on it. It reads. A couple of my headlines got blended together in my notes.
That wasn't you, Wes. I did something and I it was weird. I was trying to fix it, but I don't know what happened.
Okay, well, the last headline that I had up here is oh no, here it is. I got it. All right. Meta is nudging VR devs towards Horizon Worlds with training funding and more. So basically, this is just more of what we already know. Meta is pretty desperate to have experienced game developers come in and build their Horizon Worlds for them. They initially had thrown out some crazy number of money. Let me see. I think it's in this article. How much was it? It was some crazy amount, millions of dollars that they were putting forth to paying people to make these worlds, and now they're adding to that an extra 500,000 in funding and cash prizes to program developers creating unique, innovative, and engaging worlds in Horizon. Yeah, I think they're pretty desperate. I read a headline yesterday that that I didn't put in here, but that they've successfully completely ripped off Rec Room Paintball. Like they've recreated it pretty perfectly in Horizon Worlds now. And we always said that that's what this was, right? A Rec Room ripoff. And it's quite literally turning out to be just that, isn't it?
That's crazy, man. I didn't even think paintball was one of the best things that they got going on. What are they going to do next? The laser tag? Those are, to me, are the worst of the worst. Yeah, let's get some of the good ones in there, like the adventures and stuff. So,
but anyway, I mean, guys, if you have any kind of knowledge or skill with regards to this kind of work, there is money to be had here. Joining the Oculus team and putting your time in the Horizon Worlds. Yeah, man, they're pretty. They're trying to do basically. It's kind of a metaphor here for what Oculus, Meta, Facebook has done for VR, right? They're just making it happen with their money. That's exactly what they're trying to do here. They're just trying to make it happen with money. But this is a little bit different because you're dealing with creative types rather than engineers and scientists with regards to hardware. So yeah, good luck getting those guys to do something. Everybody's already so invested in all these other platforms, be it Rec Room or Unity or Unreal or what have you. I know a lot of these guys, they would look at taking money like this as selling your soul anyway. So
right.
Good luck.
That's
good
exactly
luck, Meta.
it. Meta's got such a bad reputation or a bad taste in the people's mouth when it comes to developers, and just they fucked over so many people along the way that like nobody's going to bend over backwards. It's the opposite of what Sony develops this partnership, and that people want to work with Sony, right? Don't get me wrong, people want the Meta money, they want the games on that platform that's selling, but other than that, people don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like Meta at all. It's just and usually I don't give a rat's ass, so I don't know.
Yeah, even the VR chat guys, I saw them out in in San Francisco, and they're dead set. They're dead set on making VR chat way better than anything you're going to be able to find in Horizons, and I don't think they're going anywhere anytime either. And yeah, I mean, between the two, between Rec Room and VR chat, I mean, where is there room for Horizons? And the lacklusterness of that it is, I don't think. I'm not even sure if it's going to survive.
Why didn't they just
buy
Rec Room if they could, and then just turn it into their Horizon, right? That'd be the way to do it.
That's probably what they'll end up doing, honestly. It's probably what they're going to end up doing. And don't forget Neos, like Skiva, Alex, they swear by Neos, and a lot of people are singing the praises of that app. We still have yet to try it out, but apparently it's pretty incredible.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Let's talk some deals before we get into the games. Actually, let's talk about a game right now. Let's talk about Beanstalker. Guys, it's time to get back into Beanstalker. They just have added their multiplayer co-op. It's very, like the rest of the game, it's very detailed and well thought out. And for a limited time, Beanstalker is half off. It's only $10 on Steam right now. Yeah, it was a great game. Last year, it's been updated in a major way a couple of times now. It's a much better game now, I'm quite sure. And it's time for us to get back in there. And it's time for all of you to get in there while it's cheap.
Yeah, I think
$30 game.
Yeah, $30 is it 30? I guess it says
No,
half.
I'm just saying it's worth
I
$30.
got you. Well, check this
I
out.
don't know what the regular price is.
The
but it's worth it.
progression it's got to be 20 because it's 50% off, but I mean it's definitely worth $30. But it says the cooperative mode is playable for up to 4 players. So we could play it, all 3 of us, and we could bring in a friend. We could bring in Todd, or we could bring in D, or somebody, one of you out there.
Hell yeah.
And it's really well done. I actually, I forgot, I meant to do a video lead into this segment because they did a nice video updating and detailing how the multiplayer is going to work in this. It's really well thought out and well done. Again, like the rest of the game, it's quite detailed, the level of insight they've put into it. And I think this is a sleeper. I think people are sleeping on this game, and slowly but surely, as word of mouth gets out about how good this game is, it's going to be quite popular, and we're going to be talking about it at the end of the year. I'm quite sure.
Yeah, don't sleep on this, because this is what's going to happen. You're going to completely forget about this conversation. And then a month or two, when everybody's like, oh my God, this game's amazing, and you go like, well, I'm going to go get it. It's not 50% off anymore. Now you gotta be like all the schlubs out there paying full price. Suckers, I say. Get the deal, 50% off, $10. What a steal, right? That's crazy.
Yeah, it was. I mean, $20 is actually kind of ridiculous for it. There's so much game here. It's insane. I agree with Mash. I think $30 would be a good price for it. To be quite honest, especially if they polished up the performance issues. It did have a few performance issues when I tried it out, but it was a long time ago in the very earliest of early access. So I'm sure that it runs much better now.
Yeah, it's on sale until April 4th. So you got about a week until it's not on sale anymore, or a little over a week.
And this game has everything, man. It's got climbing, which is great. It's got some of the best climbing you'll find. It's got, action. It's a shooter. It's melee. It's crafting. It's everything, man. It's such a good game. And Chris Richardson, don't worry about it. There are spiders in here, but they're not like big, scary looking spiders, really. It's not that kind of art style. So you'd be completely fine, I think, with this.
Yeah, plus, if you got dark there or your friends, you don't have to worry about it. You have safety in numbers. Right. Fuck those spiders. Kill those bastards.
Right. We're here for you, bro. I think that's what they're trying to say. We're here for you.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, don't forget about this. Go pick it up now. Don't forget to pick up your free games. Get your PlayStation Plus games for March. I guess this is the last opportunity to do that before they switch. Probably this Wednesday, if not next. Get your free Epic games. And while you're there, Epic Game Store Spring Sale includes discounts of up to 75%. Now, according to this article, this is from Video Games Chronicle, over 560 games are on sale, some of which are up to 75% off. There are a number of VR games that are available on the Epic Store, but beyond that, what I really love the Epic Store for is a lot of the flat games that are moddable into VR are on the Epic Store. And even on the list that they list in this article, we have Cyberpunk 2077, we have Horizon Zero Dawn, we have the Mafia trilogy, we have Red Dead Redemption 2 Roots. These are some of the best games that you can mod into VR. It's like the Luke Ross sale at Epic right now, isn't it?
Yeah, those games. Red Dead, I was just thinking of slumming it and playing some Red Dead flat, and then I talked myself out of it because that mod is so amazing. I just got to get it to work again for whatever reason. I had started having issues a while ago, but I don't know what the deal is. But yeah, those are amazing games, and Horizon Zero Dawn alone is an amazing game to play through in VR.
Mafia trilogy, bro.
Ooh, that's another one.
Yeah, I want Deathloop in VR. I know Mash is actually, you bought that, didn't you? And you still haven't played it.
I did, and I did I had like a little bit of downtime, and I did one of the talks I did was because I was just trying to do all the VR talks, but I did one that was about Deathloop, and it was about how they planned out 4 different maps and made it into like 12 because it's a time switch. I didn't realize there's that much of like a time travel, live, die, repeat kind of thing in Deathloop. So I'm extremely excited for Deathloop now. I'm going to try it.
Yeah, there's actually a really cool mechanic as far as the time manipulating time or whatever.
Yeah.
It's so much to it. It's confusing to me. I guess I should do the tutorial.
And Ghostwire Tokyo looks so good. I want to.
Oh, dude!
I saw somebody stream.
Have you got that yet?
I'm like,
Wes?
It was Paradise Decay. No, I wasn't sure whether or not I should get it on PS5 or if I should wait and see if someone could mod it on
Ooh,
PC.
Mm.
And while it's not got a full VR mod, uh, Paradise Decay did a great video a couple days ago showing how to use reshade to make it fully playable in 3D.
mm,
And it works great. It works great according to him. So
there you go.
it's full on geometry 3D. He even made his video so that you can watch his video in 3D.
Oh,
So
wow.
like it was a split screen side by side thing.
How
You can
cool.
literally download that, load it into your Quest, and watch his video in 3D.
That's cool, man.
Yeah, yeah. I haven't tried Reshade, but it's supposed to be awesome, man. It works really well
Well,
according
here's
to
I
people.
I haven't either, but here's the thing. All you have to do is just talk about it a little bit longer and how much Eric would probably want to do the same thing, and he'll probably end up picking it up on the Steam. He's like I
Maybe.
was. You pick up a lot more games than I do of that nature. Like Hades and stuff, right?
I know that's the thing though. I was the same boat. I'm like, do I get it on PS? If I was going to get it, do I get it on PS5? Because I want the adaptive triggers and everything, you know, and the sense controller of the PlayStation 5. But man, I will they see it on the 3080. See what
Yeah.
I can do.
TI.
Yeah,
Don't forget
man.
your TI, bro.
Yeah.
You got a fun week ahead of you, man. Get that shit together. Let's hear about it.
Yeah.
All right, so that's going to wrap up deals. Finally, we get to the games, friends, and we have some stuff to talk about. Finally, guys, the Boulevard update for After the Fall Frontrunner season is here. This story coming to us from Arthans VR. Vertigo Games, developer of Arizona Sunshine, has just released a massive update to After the Fall, a VR action FPS that launched a couple of months ago. Obviously, we just looked at the trailer. As a part of the Frontrunner season, which includes the addition of the Horde mode a few weeks ago, this update features the star-crested streets of Hollywood in the Boulevard Harvest map, which can now be started from the enlisting machine after you finish, of course, the relay tower. Players can jump into the ruins of Hollywood and venture into an iconic movie theater. If you manage to survive the attacks from the monsters, you will unlock the base version of the brand new LMG weapon. Take note of a brand new enemy known as the Skimmer, who will sprint away as soon as runners start shooting. But if you manage to destroy the harvest sack on its back, you'll be able to pick up heaps of loot when it dies. Eric, have you had a chance to check this this new harvest run out yet?
I have not.
What?
I've got some
What?
definite opinions on it, but I have not tried it out
That's
yet.
crazy. This is your jam, bro.
I know. I don't know.
Well, let me
I'm not
start.
real
Let
happy
me
with Vertigo
start.
right now.
Let me start by saying that I love the new map. It's great. It might be the best map that I've seen in the game yet. It's beautiful. It's long, sprawling. It's challenging. It's everything you would want. If we had this one and maybe another one at launch, I think a lot more people would have been on board with this instead of having some dissenters like it did. But you said that you have some definite opinions on this. Why don't you elaborate, Eric?
Well, I mean, basically, for what I'm talking to D, and I'm talking to, you know, she's telling me your experience and, you know, and her experience and your wife's experience in here. And to me, this game is broken. This update is broken. How do you, if you go in and you lose every one of your weapons and you get to a point where you go to buy new weapons and it takes your money, but you still can't get your weapons, that's broken. Okay. If you get kicked
Yeah.
out halfway through the run, and it's happening all the time, that's broken. That's a problem. That's an issue. This is Vertigo Games. You're going to release garbage like this, and you already delayed it. You delayed this for what, a month? And you already delayed it. Now, why would you release this now when you know it's broken? Wait till the end of April then if you need to. You already used the excuse that we didn't release this game because we didn't think the climate of the times with the war with Ukraine and Russia, it's not a good time for us to drop an update like this. So you've already used that excuse. That is already out there. And then when you drop an incomplete, flawed update, that is a problem. And you make yourselves look extremely bad. Whether it had anything to do with it or not, I don't know. Okay. I'm just telling you what it looks like to me. Looks like you guys didn't have your shit ready. You decided to use the climate of the times as an excuse. And then in the end, you still frigged it up and you still release garbage that nobody wants to play. So, you know, I just have again, I haven't tried it for myself, but I trust you guys. I trust you guys.
I want to play. Trust me, I want to play. I just refuse to play because I played 2 matches on it. And what you're saying is true. I went in and my arsenal was gone. Ruuts, all I had was 2 guns. I had the MK47 or the MT47, whatever. I had the AK, and then I had the assault carbine, which is the other automatic rifles that they both use the same ammo. So I go to the machine. Everything's unlocked like it should be to craft, but it takes my money and doesn't give me any guns. I can create the attachments. I just can't create the weapons, and it takes my money, and that's bad because I've been buying pot bombs and juice stems for like 3 solid months. I don't have much money left, dude, and I've spent like 20,000 some odd harvest trying to make myself a submachine gun.
Yeah,
it's gone. Wife tried to make me one. She tried to give it to me, and on my screen, her hand is empty. Ruuts. It's like Back to the Future. It's like the pistol and the submachine guns mommy and daddy never met at the Enchantment Under the Sea dance, and now all these guns are just disappearing from my game.
That's crazy.
It's very frustrating.
Well, and it shows you that it wasn't. Were they? I mean, I'm assuming she had her guns, or was she not having her guns? It's weird that you.
Oh no, it was fine for her.
Well, see, what's weird is that you didn't have your guns. That's one thing. The fact you couldn't craft them is another. But the fact that somebody else can't craft them and then hand it to you, it's almost like the game is like doesn't want you to have a gun. And maybe it's a pacifist version of the game. I don't know. But that's crazy. And like Mash said, it's broken. And this is the biggest thing. And this is why I was so shocked when Mash is talking about this. He hasn't even tried to go in, and I granted he's been gone. But he had the headset with him. He could have played it this whole time. This is his baby. This is the game that even when I'm saying, okay, I've had enough, he's like, come on, Ruuts. He somehow pulls me back in, and I play some more. But for him to turn his nose up at it and say, you know what, it's not even worth going in there right now. That's crazy. And hopefully they'll fix it soon because it is an amazing game, and this is one of the maps that we've all been looking forward to, right? So.
This is day one shit. This is day one shit. This is okay. I'll give you the break day one on this stuff, which we all did already. It was not perfect when it launched. The fucking PlayStation version was not even playable for the first month. Okay. So now you're going to put this crap out there. How many months are we already into this? And then you make a broken. Dee said she couldn't even see her arms. She lost all animation of her arms. She could only see the wrist rocket, for God's sakes.
That's
so
weird.
I mean, you're breaking your game for a patch. That's terrible.
Eric, you know the Frozen guys that when you find them, they have a bomb in one hand and a gun in the other. I found these guys, and I could see the bomb and the gun, but they weren't in their hands. It was laying on the ground under their hands, and I couldn't pick it up. It's like it wasn't even there for me. I would see key cards, right? We kept finding purple discs. I mean, purple floppies, and they would pick the floppy up and put in their inventory, but I wouldn't see that. It would stay on the screen, on my screen, where it was, and even though to them they had picked it up, it was still on my screen. So I would go and pick it up on my screen, and it would fly out of their inventory and fly out of my hand and go across the room. Same over and over again. They'd pick it back up, put it in their inventory. I couldn't see this. I couldn't see it. All I saw was the floppy laying there, and I would go again and pick it back up, fly out of my hand, fly out of their inventory over and over and over again. And we finally figured out what was happening. It was not good. It was tremendously broken. For me, they had smaller issues than I did. Obviously, they're playing on Quest. I'm playing on PC. I'm playing on Reverb G2. That could have something to do with it. But it worked perfectly for horde mode, not a problem for horde mode, and before that. So this is a pretty big shift for me with regards to After the Fall.
How about you test your game? Like, that's the thing. Did nobody play this thing? Like, did this thing, they just said, okay, let's put it in there and let's run with it. Oh, let's go. We're not going to test it. Now, fuck it, man. Let's roll. You know what I mean? Like, they had to have seen this. It's weird.
This is Vertigo Games. Vertigo Games. This isn't, some 2-3 person team who can't afford to test or can't afford to make sure they put a patch out. They just want to get it out there because they need to have some extra money to keep going. This is Vertigo Games. They're not going to close their doors if they don't put this freaking update out right now. Why couldn't you wait till April till it's ready? You've already made the excuse.
Eric,
you've already given us this stuff.
You know what it is, Eric? They can't find people that want to play this game pre-launch. That's what it is. I bet nobody. We don't know anybody who asked to play it 2 weeks ago. Now, do we?
No. I have no idea.
Well, now we know why we weren't able to.
Right, exactly. Why would you ever want to? If you knew this was your update, why would you ever put it in the hands of anybody who could give an opinion on it? And for me, I'm telling you guys, I love this game, man, and I'm tired of defending this game. Sorry.
It's all right. Dee's in the chat. She says, "Breathe, Mash, breathe."
Well, what's funny is
into the nose, out through the mouth.
He got so worked up, even his dog is pissed off about it. It's like, fuck this shit, you know?
Yeah, why is the Steam the dog saying, why is the Steam refund window only 30 days? This is bullshit.
This is bullshit.
That's why I told D I'm going to have to refund my free Steam copy that Tam2 sent me.
Onikaze says if it's that bad, it sounds like the wrong version got committed. And that's the thing. Maybe it did. I don't know, but I haven't heard anything.
Yeah, to be fair, this was launch day, and I have not been back. It could work perfectly fine now, but it surely did not on that day. And I woke up for that, Eric. Like, I chose not to sleep to do that, and I got screwed, man.
I was so depressed, man. I'm like, how dare they drop this while I'm away, man? Because I want to be in there playing this, and I knew that I just wasn't going to have any time to do it. And I had no idea. I was so busy that I got into my show, and I was like, D, you're the only one that's been in there. Give me the details. And when she started laying out all the garbage that you guys went through, I'm like, I just can't. Because at first I was like, I don't want to hear it. I want to hear only good things. But I can't. How can you not? How can you? Again, this game has had problems from the beginning, and I've been the biggest person defending everything. So when you continue to make your game shit, okay, at some point it breaks the back, right? I just can't. I can't anymore. I can't go out there and say this game is great and that it's game of the year last year, which we all voted it, and then you continue to crap all over your game and put out inferior stuff. I mean, it's not fair. It's not fair to the people who spent a lot of money on this game.
But you said it, man. Even if this was them, sending the wrong version out there, it's not like we didn't just have this same type of jank a few months back with PlayStation VR. It's like you think that they would figure it out at some point. Hussein asked, isn't Vertigo bringing 5 VR games, including After the Fall? That is correct. That's part of the information, the very few gaming headlines that came out of Oculus Meta Connect this past October. But yeah, After the Fall, front runner season, Vertigo Games dropping updates, dropping the ball all month long. So keep an eye out for more information on this one. Ruuts, they're not the only ones. Did you hear Zenith got a fat check dropped on them recently? Well, we now know that the Zenith update promises, quote, dozens to hundreds of in-game hours. And my first thought looking at this headline, other than, that's great, this is what we want, dozens to hundreds, Ruuts, that's a pretty big window, isn't it?
Yeah, especially when you don't have there's no concept of what any of that is. You know what I mean? Like, you would hope end-game content, any end-game content should have, probably should be 100 hours plus. Who knows, man? Because that's
which one is it, though? Is it going to be dozens or is it going to be hundreds? I mean, that's like a wide gap.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing. They give themselves a lot of breathing room to what they can deliver or what they have to deliver, right? I would have hoped if they would said hundreds, hundreds of hours is what I would have wanted. I just talked to somebody in the chat. I can't remember what his name is right off the bat, but he said, hey, Ruuts, you know, I remember meeting you in Orbis, whatever. I said, hey, have you tried Zenith? He said, yeah, I leveled 2 characters to 40 and now I'm waiting for content. It's exactly what I said was going to happen. It's one thing that I was worried about. Now, I'm glad that they're getting an infusion of money, but, you know, we were just talking about Elysia, right? And that's right around the corner. There's other games that they're working on. Zenith really needs to figure out that, say if Elysia dropped today and had endgame content, this game dries up and dies because this game doesn't have it. And it doesn't matter how good it feels or how good the questing can be or running around in an open field with your friends or whatever. Give me endgame content and in another game and I'm out of this one. So it's the time is of the essence is what I got to say. And hopefully it will be hundreds of hours or at least 100 hours because I don't want a dozen or 2 dozen hours. That's not endgame content. That's let me give you something to pacify you while we keep taking your money. So,
you know, I'm all for more content, Eric, but I just hope that it's different. I don't want more of what they've got here. I want some a little bit more complexity to the gameplay here.
Yeah, and it needs it fast. Like I was talking to Todd, I'm like, that's great that they got all this money, but they need this stuff in here now because if they wait till fall to put this stuff in, what kind of player base are they going to have by fall to give these players? I mean, what are we going to be onto by November or September or whatever? So to me,
June.
they need. Yeah, again, they need to have this stuff within the next couple of months, at least early. And they need to have it, like you said, June. They probably need to have this by May or June.
Alesia's coming, bro. Alesia's coming. GT was playing it on his channel earlier today, and it don't look bad.
Yeah. Well, I think it needed to be there on day one, in my opinion, and that was my biggest concern. And I kind of feel like they've already missed the boat, and I hope I'm wrong, but like they don't like.
Oh no. They can fix it. I feel like they can get people back in there. They just got to be quick, man, with the updates.
Wow.
Like Vertigo Games.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing. I don't know. What they've shown me is that they're not. They're on a long-term goal. It'd be like you're ready to run a race and you're ready to run the decathlon or something, and it's a 500-meter run, bro. Like, you know what I mean? You prepared for the wrong race and somebody else is going to sprint to the finish line and you're going to be standing there with your dick in your hand. You're going to be like, what happened? That's what I'm worried about. So
I can tell you that I did meet these guys in GDC at GDC, and I can tell you that I do feel that they know that there's issues. They know what they are, and they're extremely focused on getting these things taken care of. So it's not like they're all like, hey, it's all sunshine and roses and they're just celebrating and sitting on their asses. I think these guys know that, they are celebrating, and rightly so, they should, but they are focused on getting this next bit of content out here as soon as possible. So to me, just from, speaking to them, I think they're definitely focused, and they're not ignoring their issues. They know they have issues. So that's a good sign.
Yeah. That is good.
That is good. And they did it. They have done an amazing thing with this here. This is a lot of content. It's a huge, beautiful world, and it's cross-platform multiplayer, which is not the easiest thing in the world to do. So they've got a lot going for them here. I don't think that it's too late at all. I think, again, hopefully they don't wait until they have hundreds of hours before they drop the update, and I don't think they will. I think we're going to see content from these guys sooner rather than later, and I think that they're going to keep bringing it. So,
yeah, because
looking forward to that.
What Eric said,
it's telling.
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say it's telling that I was on fire to join the Virtual Strangers Q2C Guild for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever it was. And then this past week, I saw Todd in there like, hey, guys, I'm going into Hydro Splat West if anybody wants to join the guild. And I'm like, yeah, not right now.
Yeah,
I don't feel like going back in there right now.
Yeah, that is telling.
Anyway, you know what I want to do, Ruuts? I want to spend hundreds of hours playing wave shooters.
The indie hit first-person shooter, now even more first-personing. Welcome back, recruit. You do something different with your hair? You know the deal. Aliens, Earth. Let's blow stuff up. Come on, that's all you got? Death won't get you out of this, recruit, but upgrades might. Build the weapon of your dreams! Oh, who's gonna go boom boom? Oh, you are! Huh, intuitive and powerful. You got friends? Bring them and die. I mean, fight together. Oh, more! Okay, enough, too much. Now that's just... Seriously? I'm starting to think this was a bad idea.
This from Scott Hayden at Road to VR. Roguelike bullet hell Mothergunship coming to Quest 2 and Steam VR. The studio behind Mothergunship from 2018 announced it's releasing a VR reimagining of the roguelike shooter this summer on MetaQuest 2 and Steam VR headsets. Dubbed Mothergunship Forge, developers Terrible Posture Games says the roguelike bullet hell shooter is releasing on June 16th, 2022. Like the original, the game focuses on first-person shooting madness against a robot alien horde. Robotic enemies drop random gun attachments, and you can use those parts in free-form creation to make what the studio calls truly obscene guns. Think rocket-firing shotgun or toxic spike ball launcher. You know who else is a toxic spike ball launcher, Roots?
My mom!
Yeah, she is.
Craft the gun of your dreams from dozens and upon dozens of parts. Barrels, stat boosting gun caps, special ammo, shields, a saw blade. Give them that handcrafted touch by physically slapping the parts together in VR. The attachments to your attachments have their own attachments, the studio says. Roots, people are absolutely raving about the demo that's been floating around here. I know I saw GT play it. PD might have even played this one as well. People are saying that this is absolutely incredible. Even Upload raving about this. I saw the footage. We just watched the footage. It looks fun. Let me just ask you, how fun does this look to you? Does this look like it's going to be game of the year?
It does not look like it's going to be game of the year, but you know, it's ironic. All the people that you just named are people that are in the industry that they've played everything, right? And we say it all the time, and I've said it especially with about Crashland and other wave shooter type of games. You can have one. It just has to be unique. The gameplay has to be its own. It has to just be different, right? And maybe the gameplay in this is so different that it's really is fun. I noticed some of the weapons are doing different things, right? Bouncing off of other things. Like maybe you need to switch guns a lot. It's like that one game that Anthony used to rave about the platform, and you had the different guns that you had to switch different platforms. And I never got
Blasters of the Universe.
Well,
Yeah,
I think
love that one.
that was one of them, but there was something else, and maybe someone in the chat would know. But it was
Oh, I know what you're
time
talking about.
something time gun or I don't know, whatever it was. It really relied on the different guns for different situations. And if this is done right, and you're constantly having to switch between guns, and it could be really cool, right? So
Yeah, absolutely. It really reminds me of Blasters, not really in the look of it, but like what you're doing here with the guns, the complete customization of the weapons. The big difference here, Eric, is that this is a co-op game, if I'm not mistaken. So you're going to be able to bring your friends in to do this as well.
Yeah, it is. And this is a flat game, right? That they ported in, they're porting the flat game, or is it
Yeah,
is it built from
I think
ground up
so.
for the like? Okay, so it's not like they just took the IP and made it into a VR game. They're just porting what the because I know it's definitely a flat game. I just didn't know if because it's a different name. It's not. I think the flat game is just Mother Gunship, and this one's Forge. So I don't know if that's.
Yeah, I'm not sure how different it is. If this is a brand new built from the ground up game or port, I really don't know. It doesn't specify in here. It says it's released a reimagining. They're calling it. So I would say that it's one of these things that's similar but not exact. It's not a port per se.
I mean, the video they showed there does not look like it would be a port. It looks like it's made for VR to me. But you know, a lot of games do lend themselves for VR. So it looks freaking cool, man. I love these kind of things. And again, the wave shooters are okay with. I'm okay with a wave shooter as long as it's fun and it's entertaining and it keeps you. You know, don't make it boring. That's what the problem is. You get a lot of these wave shooters are boring. You get the same weapon, you get the same enemy, you get the same thing. Just you're throwing more and faster at you and harder to kill. Don't do that. Give me different. Give me options. Give me different enemies. Give me different guns. Like Root says, give me different ways to shoot them, and it sounds like it's here with the way you can customize these weapons to make what you want. So I'm definitely extremely interested in this game.
Yeah.
All right, so Wolveraz is saying that PD did do a video on it, but he was not positive like the others were. PD was livid that
boy.
they did not bring the full feature set of the original game over. So this is kind of like a limited version of what the flat game is.
I bet you PD played it flat and before it came out to VR, and so his expectations are more higher because the original is probably really good, right?
Yeah,
So.
exactly. Well, to me, I mean, it looks fun. To be quite honest, I was surprised that people were just as blown away by it as they were, because when I look at this, I look at something that's on the level of like a Captain Toonhead. Like Captain Toonhead looks just as fun, if not more so, than this game to me. It certainly doesn't look to be on the level of Crashlands to me with regards to wave shooters. But again, this is a co-op game. And that means something, right? The fact that you can play with your friends. I do think it looks like it could be more fun than something like Final Space, for example, which was good, but short. This is kind of a roguelike, and from what I understand, it's going to go on for some time and be different every time you play it, or at least in some ways different when you pick it up.
Yep.
Anyway, looks pretty cool. Going to be interested in getting my hands on this and seeing how good it really is. Again, a lot of people high on this one, and I like shooting shit in VR, Roots. I don't know if you knew that about me. I like it.
You're right up there with Wolveraza, right?
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, that was funny. That was one of the biggest things I took away from your stream on the last Fallout 4 VR is like instantly Wolvie's like, is this it? Like, where's the action? And I was like, dude, you had so much action in that stream. Shortly after, then forward, everywhere you went, there was something you were killing and attacking. That game's got tons of action, right?
Yeah, he tuned in right when I was in town talking to people and progressing the story. But yeah, anytime you leave the city walls, man, it's like, it's constant, literally. And it gets more and more so as you go along.
Yeah.
Roots, it's finally happening. Whether it be good, bad, or just all right, the NFL is getting an official VR game. The story from VR Scout. Fans of the VR sports genre should be in for a treat. Sports technology company Status Pro today announced a new partnership with the NFL to develop the organization's first official NFL game for VR headsets. Revealed during GDC 2022, the NFL licensed simulator will put you in the cleats of a professional NFL player as you toss the pigskin around a virtual arena from an immersive first-person perspective. Today marks an important milestone for Status Pro and the VR industry. By partnering with the NFL, we offer a new form of engagement between athletes and fans, unlike anything in the marketplace. This from Troy Jones, co-founder and chief executive officer of Status Pro. NFL football fans and gamers alike will be able to connect with the world of sports through authentic, immersive gaming products that democratize the experience of the professional athlete. Roots, this could be great, or it could be a disaster. From what I understand, I mean, this isn't coming from some AAA studio that has a bunch of experience making football games or VR games for that matter. So we largely don't know what to expect here, but you got to imagine if the NFL is putting their stamp on it, I mean, it's got to be all right, don't it?
I hope so. Because that's the thing, right? Because it could imagine you're just getting into VR and you're like, oh man, they got an NFL game, you know, a football game that's backed by the NFL, and you get into it, and at least from what this description sounds like, that description sounds like something from 2016 where you're in there and you're maybe you get to throw what's that other game, the 2K football or whatever. It sounds like the first version of that. Like they've added it to where it's actually a football game now. Now I don't think I think like you said, because the NFL is attached to it and the timing of it, I'm really hoping that they got presented with this game and they said, wow, this is amazing. We need to snatch this up, right? We need to partner with them. That's my hope. I don't know.
Well, Eric, I mean, if we look back into the past history of the VR library, I mean, the MLB game was so awesome, and the NBA, I mean, such high reviews for these. Surely the NFL's not going to drop the ball, so to speak, right?
I have zero expectations for this game. I think it's probably a good chance it's going to be utter dog shit. I just don't see it. Who's status pro? Why again? Roots had it. Give this license to 2MD football. They freaking deserve it. They earned it. They already have a framework. Give them some money behind it. Let them make something freaking mind blowing. Why would you give it to? I don't even know who these people are. And again, it's again the NFL. NFL just throws money at shit. You know what I mean? Doesn't think about it.
Metaverse.
Yeah, come
Yeah.
on, man.
It's the metaverse, bro. We got to put the money in there. We don't want to be late to the party on this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I hope I'm wrong.
I don't know.
Wrong. You know what I mean? I hope it's great. To me, I see red flags all over this. How about you? I mean, you guys got to think the same, right? Or something close. I just don't see a lot of faith in here. I'm like, oh, where I'm just now looking at this going, oh, wow, this is going to be great.
This is the it's a simulator, NFL licensed simulator. What does that sound like to you? That doesn't sound like a game. That sounds like I said, you're going to get in there and you're going to get to throw the ball around. I mean, maybe it's a simulator because it's so real and that it's the best version of football ever. But I'm leaning against that from what just their wording of it, and I hope I'm wrong. So
yeah, we all hope we're wrong because of what a big deal it would be if this turned out to be awesome. Like if this turns out to be a legit, incredible NFL experience, even if it isn't a full game, if it's an amazing experience, it's going to draw people into the headset.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what we're hoping for here, and hopefully this game will succeed where the NBA and MLB brands have failed before it.
Yep.
Golf. That's the best we have. That's the best
Golf.
we have, Eric. We have golf.
Yeah. Well, like was it Roots or you just said that, or both? It could have the opposite effect. Can you imagine if this is garbage and you have people playing this for the first, playing their first VR experience, and they go, "Hey, I can play, like Madden in VR," and you go in there and it's garbage, and you're like, "Ugh, why am I doing VR?" You know what I mean?
We already have the Patrick Mahomes experience, so I think that damage has been done already.
I know, right? That's true.
Anyway, moving right along, an old favorite topic of discussion on this program finally finds a publisher.
行こう。この先も二人でならきっと。
はじめまして、京都で VR ゲームの開発をしているキャラクターバンクの三上です。私たちはこの冬にリリースする予定の VR 魔法アクション RPG ルインズメガスを制作しています。本日はこのルインズメガスについてご紹介させていただきます。このゲームでは遺跡都市グランアムニスを中心にさまざまな物語を体験することができます。あなたは新人魔法使いとして研究機関エニグマの同じく新人であるアイリスと共に遺跡に秘められた謎の解明を目指します。ストーリーは全26章に及び、その全てを VR で体験することができます。遺跡内ではあなたに襲いかかるガーディアンとの戦闘は避けられません。さまざまな特徴を持つ魔法を強化し、使い分けたり、盾アクション、回避アクション、アイテムを上手に使い、強力なガーディアンや敵対する魔法使いとの手に汗握る戦闘をすることができます。先ほどから皆様に見ていただいているゲーム内映像はすべてオキュラスクエスト2でお楽しみいただけるグラフィックスです。私たちはこれまで培ってきた技術を使い、本作ではスタンダーローン機器でも PC と同様のグラフィックスでゲーム体験をすることができます。私たちが作り上げるこのルインズメガスに少しでも興味を持っていただければ幸いです。Thank you.
It's on. Although my thing's behind it.
Oh, I was just seeing black screen. All right, this from Jamie Feltham at Upload VR. VR Japanese RPG Ruins Magus now has a publisher and is back on track once again for a Western launch. The game from Kyoto based Character Bank was originally hoping to launch worldwide with the help of a Kickstarter crowdfunding campaign. But it failed to secure the necessary funds through the platform, and its developer said it would look into other means of releasing. This week, the team confirmed that it had partnered with Mastiff to publish the game beyond Japan, and it's now looking to release Ruins Magus on both Quest and PCVR this spring. No word on a PSVR release yet, but we'll let you know if we hear any more. So, Roots, you know, we were pretty excited to check this thing out. It's a very story-driven RPG with a beautiful art style and an intriguing story. We've talked about it many times, but alas, the Kickstarter did not succeed, and it seemed, at least for a while there, like all hope was lost. But enter now Mastiff Games, which, by the way, is the company that brought us Home Sweet Home. And they're going to bring this game to market. So I think that's a pretty good sign, Roots, that at least this game, at least someone has seen this game and thinks that it's worth bringing into Western markets. It must be halfway decent, right?
Yeah, it looks pretty cool, man. And there's a lot of people that love this type of game, and the thought that it was just going to go by the wayside is kind of depressing. So I think it's kind of cool that they got a second chance, or maybe the third chance, right? So
yeah. Eric, I don't know if I've even talked to you about Ruins Magus before. Have you seen this?
Yeah, I have. I've watched you guys talk about it. I don't think we have actually discussed it, but I'm super excited about this game. It looks so good, and I'm so glad that they, a lot of times they don't make Kickstarter, man. That's it. They just kind of pack it up. So it's good that somebody decided to put some money behind. This is kind of what I was talking about earlier. You take some of this money that people are throwing at crazy shit like the metaverse and go put it into a company like this. Give them something, give them the tools they need to make this thing awesome. So I'm super glad that what was the company's name? I didn't even remember, but I'm super glad that they decided to invest in them because this could have went away real quick. And I understand that people are nervous with Kickstarters because most of them don't go anywhere and you lose your money, which kind of sucks. But the Kickstarters are sometimes the only avenue that some of these companies you have. So pick and choose and try and make right decisions and back a Kickstarter, man. That's all I can say.
Yeah, they came along just a little too early, right? But before the metaverse craze, they had their Kickstarter. They might could have ran the same exact campaign in February this year, and it would have been a massive success. Whereas before, it failed to. I mean, people just weren't talking about it. Like, I think it was VR Focus would talk about it quite a bit. That's where we learned about it at, and we would cover it. But who are we, right? Eventually, Upload picked it up during the Kickstarter campaign, but typically these campaigns, they either succeed or fail in the first few days. And when people see one that's 2 weeks in that doesn't have anywhere near the money that it needs, people are reluctant to invest in it because they don't think that obviously something's wrong with it, right? Like if it were good, then people would have bought it. So they were kind of doomed from the start with this regard. So I'm with you. I'm glad that Mastiff picked this up. I'm very interested in it. A lot of gameplay mechanics in this type of game, stuff people like from the MMO type games, but a lot more depth with regards to story and other aspects. Looking forward to checking out Ruins Magus.
it looks like it's done very well. Like even just watching the dialogue, and the vendor, and she's like, handing something over, and it just looked really, really good. I want to play this thing now. Let's do it.
Well, apparently not going to have to wait that long. This spring, I think, is what they're saying for this one. So,
Yep.
Spring is here. So
Yeah,
we
we're
should
here.
see it pretty soon.
Yeah.
Let's see. What else do we have here? Polyarc looking to bring Moss 2 to other platforms ASAP. So a lot of people concerned about this. Much like its predecessor being a PSVR exclusive, a few people have made note that they never said that they were going to bring it to other platforms, even though we all knew that they were. Of course, there are the worriers out there. Like, nobody ever said this was coming to Quest or PC. Well, here you go. Polyarc looking to bring Moss 2 to other platforms ASAP. Unsurprisingly, according to this article, studio co-founder and art director Chris Alderson said as much in an interview with the Between Realities team during GDC this week, which again, you can see the video here on Upload VR. The anticipated sequel launches this week on PSVR, this Thursday to be exact, but the team asked Alderson if there was a tentative date for release on other platforms. No tentative date, Alderson replied, but we are working on delivering that to fans as soon as possible. Eric, as soon as possible. That means just as soon as their exclusivity deal's up, right?
100%. As soon as Sony, that means as soon as Sony lets us bring it to somebody else.
Ruuts, are you bummed out at all that you're going to have to play this on PSVR? I'm kind of digging the idea because I experienced the original on PSVR, and it's just going to add to that whole nostalgia thing for me, which is a big part of a game like this.
I'm curious to see how good it. I mean, it's going to look amazing. I'm playing it on PlayStation 5. You know what I mean? So it's going to be phenomenal. I'm not going to be up swinging my Move controllers. There's going to be no tracking issues. So everything about it, it's best case scenario for me. It's I'm looking forward to it as well. Would I want to play it on a different platform? Yeah, obviously. But my thing is it's good for PlayStation VR and all the players that's what they have. They've been this is their we get to play it early, and I guess they're going to be having a lot of moments like that, or a lot of feeling better about themselves moments in Q1. So it'll be cool of 2025.
My question is this. We talked about it earlier. The game is only as good as its lowest common denominator platform. So this is working on a PlayStation 4.
Slim.
Slim.
But confirmed enhanced for PS5. So it's not just going to have a slim version and a pro version that is backwards compatible on PS5. It's actually going to be enhanced for PS5. So we should get a fairly good representation of this as people who have already bought into the next generation.
Right.
Yep.
I mean, if you really want to see it in its glory for that platform, just wait for PSVR 2 when it drops, and then it'll be probably blow you away from the version we're about to play on the PSVR 1, right? So
only time will tell. This is supposed to be bigger and better in every way. Everything that we liked about the original Moss should be enhanced here, and the feeling of immersion should be all the more. So I'm looking forward to checking this one out. We all know that. And then when it comes to other platforms, just like I did with the other one, if it's as good as I think it's going to be, I'll end up playing it on every platform again, just like I did the first one.
Yeah.
But Ruuts, Moss Book 2, it's a pretty high-profile sequel, taking all the attention and all the headlines, while we have other sequels that are just kind of lurking in the shadows that I wasn't even aware of.
Boys, here are your new objectives for today. Rocket away! Direct hit! Destroyer suck! Fighter destroy! Get off me! Bomb away! Target eliminated! I'm jumping out! Fighter down! Target out of action! I got him!
Warplanes, Battles Over Pacific is a World War II sequel to the hit VR combat flight sim Warplanes World War I Fighters. World War I Fighters was the first and only combat flight game on Quest until the release of Ultra Wings 2, and is still the only one with a realistic art style and multiplayer, though the latter feature is on its way to Ultra Wings 2 very soon. It's also available on Steam VR. Roots, we covered this game a while back, basically on the insistence of the community. I was not looking forward to playing it. I'm not a flight sim guy. But with that said, when I got in there, I could see why people were so high on it. And I was glad I played it. I ended up having a very good time. Very surprised at just how much fun I had in the Warplanes World War One. Now we have a whole new sequel, bigger and better, apparently, with a whole new generation of airplanes and equipment, as this one is based in the era of Hitler.
That's crazy. You know, my reaction is like people in the chat are saying, like, the first one just came out. You know what I mean? Like, oh my God, these devs are crazy, man. They're just pumping it out. And like I was telling you guys during the trailer, I'm blown away just by how good the difference between the first one and the second one. This is like a good upgrade, right? And like you were saying, a good balance of that sim versus arcade thing. I just think it's really good. Looks good anyway.
Right. Ultra Wings, kind of cartoony, kind of arcadey. A load of fun, by the way. Ultra Wings too. And then you have the other end. You have your Microsoft Flight Sim, which is ultra realistic, amazing views, but not very fun to fly, so to speak. It's fun to ride, but I mean the piloting not all that great. But then you have a game like this that just has the best of both worlds. It has a very good, realistic look to it. Fun gameplay that's easy to pick up. Tons of options. The only question, Eric, you know, we know this is a World War II game, but how many Hitlers does this game actually have? Because we know 2079 has a plethora of Hitlers. I don't know if this one can keep up.
If you don't have 50 Hitlers in the game, don't even bother launching it.
I'll settle for killing one Hitler. I know Wolfie would love to kill one Hitler, man.
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
This game looks freaking crazy amazing, man. I was just telling you guys during the trailer. I mean, this is like the perfect time period for this type of game. So they got out of the World War One kind of like biplane. Now we're into some jets and some fighter planes, and you know, it looks like you're going to do some amazing dogfights, and you know, shooting at these submarines and these destroyers out in the ocean just looks so cool, man. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this one, and they need flight stick support.
That would be cool.
I mean, you can't do it. You can't do it on a Quest that I know of, anyway. So I mean, did this come into Steam? Did they say?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that. Well, I mean, the original came to Steam, and you would assume that this one's coming as well.
Yeah.
Let me read a little further down here and see if it specifies.
Yeah, I don't want to use the virtual HOTAS. I want to use my HOTAS.
It doesn't say. It says third quarter this year, so this one's coming later this year. I would imagine it's going to be on Steam. Yeah, you know, people obviously are going to want to HOTAS support for this, and I'd be surprised if it didn't eventually get it. But with that said, I was really pleased by the controls and just how easy this game was to pick up and play. Again, I'm not a flight sim guy, and I had no trouble at all picking this up and playing it. It was fun.
Yeah, they give you a lot of options to control it here, right? And so if you want to go, you know, super sim type, you can do that. If you want to go really arcadey, you can do that. And then they do have a little bit of a middle option, which is kind of where I sat with when I was playing it. So yeah, they definitely give you options, which is
Oculus Quest library getting better all the time, right? And certainly this is the case when we talk about this next headline. Walkabout minigolf devs tease more licensed content after Labyrinth. Like, Eric, we were kind of blown away recently when it was revealed that the Walkabout devs have signed a deal with the Jim Henson company to produce a Labyrinth themed, I guess it's 3 courses, like a set of courses, DLC for their game. Apparently that's not all they have in the works though. So, you know, based upon the amazing announcement that we already have, I mean, aren't you kind of like curious what this next one might be? It could be anything if they're doing Labyrinth.
Back to the Future. That's what I want. I want Back to the
Goonies.
Future. Go Goonies. Radio Run. Let's do some Goonies. He loves Walkabout minigolf too. Can you imagine if he had to play through Goonies courses?
That would be cool. How cool would it be? Like with all the gadgets that one kid could do. I mean, they could have some cool things going through there. So
Data.
Yeah, Roots,
Data.
we could get a hole in One-Eyed Willie.
yeah, you know who else wants a one-eyed Willie hole in their hole?
Oh my
Yeah, she
goodness.
does.
You know what's cool? The
Oh.
coolest thing I take from this, and this is, I'm sure you guys feel, how cool is it to see this interview from Alex? I keep, you know what I mean? Like and it's such a good, the dialogue here, and these are the questions you would want to ask them yourself. So what a good pickup it was for Upload VR, for sure.
VR Incorporated, Metaverse startup. I'm telling you guys, millions.
Yeah, millions. Let's
Anyway,
Mm.
looking forward to more from Walkabout. They don't do anything but quality already. We know that. That's the reason why this is so exciting rather. We know they're going to knock it out of the park with this Labyrinth DLC, and then whatever comes next, man. I mean, who knows? Could literally be anything.
Back to the Future. That'd be cool. I want it.
Yeah.
I'm down.
Anyway, Walkabout, I'd say a likely candidate for the Hello Games Award at the end of the year for best ongoing support of a game, but we won't know until we meet, of course, with our patrons in Big Screen as we do each year. And Roots, did you know this year it's going to be a lot easier to do and a lot more accessible for our patrons? Big Screen VR input streaming update lets you fully control your PC from your Quest 2 wirelessly. This is a full-on virtual desktop style upgrade for Big Screen on Quest. A few months ago, Big Screen VR developer fully overhauled streaming in the application with dedicated servers and a new low latency remote desktop client. So I did not report on this. I did read it at the time. This is one of the things that ended up on the cutting room floor, but Big Screen VR added a bunch of dedicated servers recently to add quality to the streaming aspect of their shared spaces when you invite your friends in and stream your PC, which is a big deal because really that's the only thing that this, for the applications we use it for, that was the only thing that was lacking was quality on that end. So that's kind of a big deal. But since then, the team dramatically added various features and improvements, including increased video audio quality, latency, and stability. Today, the developer released a new remote desktop client with a simple installer, allowing users to interface between PC and their Quest 2 much easier. With this update, users can now fully control their PC from their Meta Quest 2 wirelessly with a virtual keyboard and mouse that the users can operate using their Meta Quest 2 controllers. Roots, I'm excited about this, specifically with the application that I kind of used as a segue here. Our players, we've been waiting a long time for Big Screen to come to PlayStation VR. And it's been available on Quest 2 for a while now, but this allows for much more flexibility on our end. Like we can each get in there now without even having to be anywhere near our computer and use our computer fully, share our screens. And again, when you pile that on top of all the other improvements that they've put in over the last 4 to 6 weeks, I feel like we're going to continue. The participation is going to continue to grow in our end of the year meetup with our patrons. What
Yeah.
do you think about all this?
Oh, I agree. I think it's cool that they're making it easier. I mean, especially even from content creators' standpoint, because one of the things that you can't do in VR is you can't look at your chat, like from a Twitch or YouTube or whatever, right? You don't have a chat screen. So that's going to be solved in this. And like you said, sharing the screen, even when we want to do our content where one of us is doing the showcasing the game, where we're doing split screen, one of the things we have to do is trying to log into a website browser thing, and it just gets weird, man. I just want to just give me something to make it easy to interface with my computer, and it looks like they did. And I would assume I can run Discord through this as well, and then now I can talk to people in Discord through the Quest. Correct? Would that work or no?
I would assume so, but we already have a fix for that through this other program called Oculus that actually lets you run Discord right in the within the Android framework without having to use a workaround.
Oh wow, that's cool.
We need to try that out. I've been meaning to install it just to see how good it is, but apparently we can do that now. Eric, isn't it interesting how Big Screen kind of has become this 2-in-1 program? Like we have all this stuff we're talking about here that we use it for, but that's not really what this app is known for, is it? This is a movie viewing app. This is meant for people to take in digital entertainment with their friends. You can literally buy movie tickets and watch movies in Big Screen. But it also has all of this functionality from a productivity standpoint.
Yeah, and I think they had to morph. They had to change at some point, and at some point in time, the framework and the way they were doing things quickly became, with the way Oculus and the way Oculus takes a cut of their money with these movies. I think it quickly became apparent to them that they weren't going to make a lot of money just on doing that one thing, and they probably had to pivot and try something a little bit different. So this is a smart move. I think the servers, that's kind of over. We kind of brush by that a little bit. That's an important thing to have the servers, more dedicated servers in there, because getting more people into your instances to watch these things is important. If you can do it smoother, that makes it a lot easier. Hell yeah. I mean, friction. We don't want friction when we go into these things. So yeah, I think this is great for Big Screen, and we need it. Big Screen is a really cool thing that we need, and more people should be using.
Well, this is something that blew me away. It's been a month or so. I don't know. I was talking to somebody. I can't remember who it was now, but they didn't even know Big Screen existed, and they've been into VR for like 6 months or a year. And like that, to me, that blows me away because like who doesn't watch TV or movies? I mean, I don't very much anymore, but it's the biggest consumption thing that people do in media, right? And bringing that into VR in an easy way, and now you got all these extra features is really good for it. So
I'd love to talk to these guys. One, because I'm interested to know if they still plan to bring this to PlayStation VR 1. It's been coming soon forever, but we're now on the doorstep of the next generation. It makes me wonder if they're just going to just wait until they have a more full-featured platform to launch on. But beyond that, these guys have been super outspoken against Meta and their shady business practices and what it's like to be on their store. They're not afraid to speak their mind. For that reason, I'd love to talk to them. Maybe we can go on location with them at some point. I'd love. We could go on location from Big Screen with these guys, right?
That'd be super cool. Onikazi says that their first release was the shared screen social place. Then came the focused on movies, which is kind of cool. So they must have realized, okay, they did one thing, then kind of shifted to movies, and now they're bringing it all back together into one, right? So.
Right. Yeah. Originally, this was kind of like a virtual desktop style thing. But again, it just keeps growing and adding functionality. The funny thing is, I think the real potential for this app lies in that end of it. I think if they could get day and date movie releases, like big time movies that are still in the theater, I think people, especially as the metaverse continues to grow, I think people are going to be up for this. Especially, I mean, obviously they're going to need the support of someone like Meta. So I don't know that it'll ever happen. But once the metaverse becomes a real thing, and you're going in there, and you're going to all these different digital spaces, you're going to McDonald's, you're going to want to be able to go somewhere and catch a movie. And if it's not Big Screen doing it, someone else is going to do it, because there's absolutely a future in this concept.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. One more headline before we get into the week's reminders. I just thought those of you who are like me, and I'm sure there's not many of you that have been curious about Agony VR. There's a demo out for it now, but apparently, according to Upload VR anyway, the Agony VR demo is not very good. And I want to apologize to everyone because I feel partially responsible for this. You know, and I'm joking, obviously. I did ride these devs pretty hard to bring Agony into VR. Even before Agony was released, I was riding these guys to make it a VR game. I was leading the charge with this. And when it came out and people said the game wasn't very good, I didn't stop. I just kept going. Well, I said, well, you know what? Maybe it's not very good on flat, but this would be crazy in VR. So I stayed right on them. And then it finally happened. They finally announced that they were bringing in another team to help them. And my hope is that this was going to turn out to be mind-bending and frightening and disgusting. And it might be, but according to Upload VR, it's not very impressive. But I'm going to try it out. I've waited this long, and I thought there might be at least 2 or 3 other people out there that have kind of been looking forward to this. And I thought I would inform those people that Agony VR demo is available now. I'm sure neither one of you guys want to play this, right?
No, especially not after that raving review. But
I want you stream it.
I am curious, though. Yeah, I'm curious to see exactly, because not everybody's. You know, this is the thing. We've been off the mark on a lot of games this year. Now, I would argue that we had the correct take on the mark. But still, just because somebody says a game isn't good doesn't mean that you're not going to like it, right?
Well, listen, dude, it's like this. Mothergunship is the greatest game of all time. Hitman VR is garbage that you should play flat.
Marineverse is game of the year.
Yeah, well, could be. Could be. Yeah, some people say it's a really good sim.
I did hear that.
Yeah.
Wolveraza says, Agony trailer I watched looked like a walking sim in hell. That is exactly what it is. It is a walking sim in hell.
That's what Wes
it is
likes about
disturbing.
It.
Yeah. It looks like something that would freak you out if you were to experience it in VR if it were done right. We'll see. I'm going to try it out. I'll let you guys know. I'm not streaming it. If I do, it'll be for patrons. Like, this is one of those things that, you know, against community guidelines, what they've put in this game. So I'd be surprised if you saw very many streams of this.
Wow.
They did. Somebody streamed Lust for Darkness, didn't they?
Really?
That one's pretty bad. Yeah.
I don't know. Wasn't me. I don't know.
You should do that one too.
Just put your kid in there for clickbait.
Tell my wife. Tell my wife. Tell my wife I should stream that. See what she tells you.
No, your wife, Michelle, is very, very wise and level-headed. She's like, that ain't happening.
Yeah. Anyway, well, we can talk about that off air. She has a point. Anyway, let's get into the week's reminders. We do have a ton of games out this week. Some we were expecting, and even this next one kind of snuck up on me. Now There Be Goblins from Shocktopus Games, March 28th, coming to Steam VR. I've had my eye on this for a little while. I did not know it was coming so soon. Judging by the look of this trailer, I mean, it looks a lot like, in terms of gameplay, it looks a lot like Captain Toonhead. But you said you did get a chance to play a demo of this, right, Eric?
Yeah, this was one of the VR games that was in the Steam Next Fest that we had recently, and I did play it, and it was pretty cool. It's it's pretty basic tower defense, but the mechanic, they have like a hammer in here that's like it's like retractable. It's like on a chain, so you throw it, and then you can whip it back at your back and catch it in your hand like a Thor's hammer kind of deal. And the mechanic was really good, and it was one of the best things I liked about the game. But yeah, I mean, it seemed pretty basic. You know what I hate that they do in this is they talk gibberish in this game. I just hate when they do that. It bothers me.
As Mr. T would call it, they talking jibba jabba.
Jibber jabber, that's it. Yeah.
Roots, Rock'em Sock'em Goblins, you in?
It looks pretty cool. I mean, I enjoyed the other version, right? The Chonkla or whatever it's called. But it looks cool. It looks unique. I like that minecart. That looks super cool to me. And I just think it looks pretty cool, different.
Yeah, I'd check it out for sure.
Yeah.
But that's not all we have this week. Not by a long shot, friends. You know what we need, Roots? Everybody says this. What VR really needs more of is awesome rail shooters.
The Autobots must be really desperate.
Impressive tactics, but they won't save you.
Transformers Beyond Reality from Meta 4 Interactive, coming out March 31st for Steam VR, PlayStation VR as well. Roots, looks to me, and this is a good thing if it's true, looks to me like they took Archangel and pulled a Transformer skin over it. And while I wasn't like ever like the biggest Transformers fan, I do think this looks cool, and I hope that it's good because I know there are legions of Transformers fans out there.
Well, a lot of people are put off by the fact that you're like, I guess, a person with the Transformers. And I don't think that, to me, that's not going to put me off. I only have one caveat, because this is what I always wanted when I was a kid. One of the coolest things about, I guess you just see it right there, watching the vehicles and different things change into the Transformers back and forth, and seeing it in a fantastical way, right? Because that's what's cool about it, is you're seeing things transform right before your eyes and attack each other. So I think it could be really cool. Hopefully there's a cool story. And I agree with you. Archangel was cool, and seeing it in a Transformer world could be amazing. And it could also be something that was created several years ago and are now releasing. We see a lot of this stuff, right? And it's like, oh, now's a good time to release it. And then it comes out and you're like, ooh, this would have been good in 2017. I don't think that's going to be the case for this, but that's always a possibility, right?
Absolutely. Eric, another one for PlayStation VR. They're having quite a month here, and that's good. We said that this awesome platform deserves a victory lap before it fades off and rides off into the sunset. Looks like a pretty good one for PSVR. I mean, a rail shooter like this is uniquely positioned to work well with the PSVR control and tracking system, right?
Yeah, I mean, this is a game that's made for the PSVR. Front facing, wave shooter. will work well probably both ways if you decide. And I don't know. I'm not sure if it'll use DualShock and moves, but I would say it would probably work both ways pretty well if you chose to go that route. But yeah, for the moves, it would be great. And yeah, I mean, it looks cool. And you know what? Again, the PlayStation it does PlayStation VR does deserve their victory lap, and I have as long as it's a timed one, I'm good with timed exclusives. I just hate when you're never going to see it anywhere else. So yeah, I'm excited for it.
You know who else works well with going both ways?
My mom!
Yeah, she does.
Yes, she does. Anyway, March 31st, a busy day apparently, as we get the next title from Alchemy Lab.
So that's what a Prismy adapting looks like. Yes, yes, yes! New power, new power! What can you do?
That's a neat party trick.
Nice!
Cool, way!
You did it! I'm not sure how the blebs got trapped in the mazes.
Several SkyDrives around Astralgebra can be explored using SkyDrive Terminal.
It has its own gravity? Wow!
Use resize power on any sun. Observe effect. Planetizer can planetize most items. However, use caution.
What? I know, I love it!
Are you good at finding things, new kid? Cause I lost my school ID. It's got a me on it. I had it in my locker and then I lost it. Oh, you found my ID! Amazing!
Pile of ghouls. Classic.
You're already the coolest kid in school!
Let's add ice. Like, a lot!
Don't be a bubble burster, Gleg.
Welcome to the Sports Dome!
Picture time! Hit it!
Yay! You did it!
Well, I have been known to play the occasional prank.
Shouldn't you be in class?
Way to go, kiddo! Keep it up!
Yes! Clean up in aisle 2!
Looks delicious!
And that's a hoot!
The greatest detective in Los Cosmos was on the case.
Despite school-wide malfunctions and fire, classes will continue as usual.
Did not see that coming.
Cosmonius High is nearby.
Osmonius High coming as well on March 31st. This one coming to Steam VR and Quest 2. This, again, as we mentioned before, the latest from Alchemy Labs, the studio that brought us Job Simulator and then Vacation Simulator after that. Eric, this looks like a natural progression of that style of game, giving it a little bit more depth, but still revolving around the hand-based interactions that the previous two titles were built upon. I think the people who are going to like this game already know that they're going to like it, and people who aren't going to like it already know that they're not. I think pretty much anybody could get in here and be mildly entertained, although I don't know I'll be picking this one up on launch day.
Yeah, I mean, like we were just talking about, these games aren't for everybody, but they're gonna focus to a lot of people, which is great. And again, my daughter will absolutely love this game. She loves Vacation Simulator, and it's probably one of the only things she's playing right now. So yeah, it's perfect for that. There's a ton of stuff to do in here. They have a lot of interaction, which is a lot of virtual reality interaction, which is great. So, I mean, it looks really, really good, and the team, it's funny, and this team knows how to make these games, man. Alchemy is such a good developer, and they know how to make these type of games, and they know their wheelhouse, and I think this is going to be a hit for them.
Yeah, the thing is, for me, for this Job Simulator, I like Job Simulator. It was pretty cool. It was early on, right? So you enjoyed it, and we didn't judge it too much because it was early on, and it's a good game. And then Vacation Simulator came out, and I thought, okay, I'm going to play Job Simulator again. It's going to be pretty cool. And it was actually, to me, the amount of depth and how cool it was like 10 times better than the first one. So much so that Wes broke his TV playing it. And so my expectations are that I'm going to think, this doesn't look like it's for me. I'm going to go into it, and I'm actually going to enjoy playing it just like I did the other two. Because this looks like it's got that weird effect too, and they're also looks like they've expanded on what you do in the first one, right? Or the first two rather. So I agree. I think your daughter's going to love it. I think I'm going to love it when I do try it as well. I don't know if I'm going to be running out and playing it, but Alchemy, I'd like to check it out and talk about it on the show, maybe. So it'd be cool.
Absolutely. I think my kids are going to absolutely love it. I think I'll have a good time with it as well. Game of the year, maybe not, but that doesn't, they don't all have to be game of the year, right?
Yeah, absolutely. As long as I can get lost in that world and enjoy the gameplay, I would suggest, Wes, when you do get this ready to play, just turn at least for this game only, turn your stuff on, or just don't move.
Yeah. Stay in the chair. Right?
Stay in the chair. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take that that advice. Learn the hard way, but I do learn eventually.
Unless there's a TV you want to replace, then just conveniently move
Right.
it into that spot and then punch it.
There you go. I like how you think, sir. Anyway, Cosmonius High not likely to make our game of the year, but you know what? This next release on this very same day just might be in the discussion when December rolls around.
There are those who look into the eyes of another and see opportunity. A soul to corrupt and twist. Their stories are the ones we fear. And there are those who see potential. The light within the soul. A chance to lift someone up to achieve the impossible. Their stories rise to legend. So tell me, what do you see in Quill? Because her story depends on you.
PlayStation.
I don't know. For some reason, it's showing that I'm not having audio from you, even though I didn't change anything. You're not muted. Do you guys hear Wes? That's really weird. No, both of you. Yeah, it's still not. No, it's all of them. I even went back a scene. I went back to Now There Be Goblins, and you guys aren't there. Okay, let me see. Let me figure out. Maybe I'll. That's really weird, man.
Yeah, that's weird, dude.
What-
Oh, there it is.
Whatever.
We got it.
So we're back. All right. So see if you can go to wish list if it disappears.
Let's go here. What is happening? Yeah. Yeah, let me just do what I was.
And the first intro 4-man or whatever. If
got
that's
audio
not
now.
what this is.
We got audio now.
Yeah,
All right.
I just added a new source.
Hell yeah. On the
Okay,
fly.
cool.
Roots is rocking and rolling on the fly.
I don't
Making
know
it
what's
work.
wrong with this bullshit, but okay, we're here. We
Well-
did it.
Well, the good news is we only had a couple items left to touch on anyway. First of all, I wanted to talk about how amazing March 31st is. We're getting this highly anticipated Moss Book 2, which has been coming for years now. It's coming exclusively to PlayStation VR. A bit of trivia. Do you know what else happens on March 31st? Either one of you?
The end of the month. I don't know.
Not that I can think of. Nothing I can think of.
3 years since Virtual Strangers episode 1.
Oh my god! So that's actually like bad for me. Mash, as a fan of the show back then, I can understand you forgetting that. But what the hell? I should have that like written on my thing. 3 years. That's crazy, dude.
Yeah.
So check this out. How's this for a week? First of all, we have these 4 awesome releases, which culminates with Moss Book 2 on PlayStation VR. So Wednesday is going to roll around. This is our week. Wednesday rolls around. I start my weekly gig on PSVR Without Parole with Brian Paul. And by the way, guys, I'm super excited for this. I got bummed for a couple of days because I didn't know AJ was totally stepping back. I thought AJ was going to stay on for a day a week. I didn't find out until you guys found out that AJ, at least for the time being, is taking a complete total step back from Without Parole. So I was totally bummed out when I tuned into the Gamescast yesterday. I tuned in expecting to kind of get this, a certain tone, announcing that I'm joining the channel. And instead, I tuned into AJ saying I can't do it anymore. I have to go. It was like a gut punch because I go from I've been watching Without Parole for longer than I've even had VR. Like I was watching them before I had my first PSVR headset, and this is a big deal for me to be going on that channel. So literally, I go from the highest of highs, gut punch when AJ announces he's not going to be around anymore. But for what it's worth, AJ did reach out to me later on that night, and we had a nice talk, and he said a lot of nice things, and my confidence is back, my excitement's back, and
it's
that's how we're going to.
It's 100% well deserved, Wes. And if AJ is leaving, whether you go there or not, so to have you there, all that does is it helps the cats and it helps Brian keep that show up here where it needs to be. That's all that does. So it doesn't matter. Doesn't have anything to do with you. What happened, and you deserve to be on there. And I couldn't think of another better person to put on that show.
Absolutely. Eric and I were just talking about how it's that Gamescast is going to add. They're going to get an addition of a technical side, like Eric was saying, that they didn't have before. Like, because you're so technical with the hardware, it's going to be a great addition. So I say, congratulations.
Well, thank you, guys, and thanks to everyone else who wished me congratulations over the last few days. They are going to get a bit of a different perspective, right? Because up until this point, anyone who's ever been on that show, and again, I've been watching this show since 2016, like 2016, 2017, right around there. It was before I had my headset. A few months before I got my headset, I started watching. Everyone that's ever been on this channel has been exclusively a PlayStation VR gamer. And while Brian and AJ have dabbled a little bit in Quest, they're still, they don't have the same kind of perspective that I do, covering every game on every major platform. So it's going to be a bit of a change. But as you guys know, I'm a PSVR guy to the core. My first headset was a PSVR. My second headset was a PSVR. Like I have full setups twice over. My most fond memories of Gen 1 VR were the heyday of PlayStation VR. I am so excited to be joining Brian. And for so you guys know, it's every Wednesday. Every Wednesday, I'm going to be on Without Parole. But that's just how we're going to kick our week off at midnight. And shortly thereafter, the date changes over to the 31st. Strangers in the Night comes on the air. It's our 3-year birthday. That day, all these awesome games with Moss Book 2 comes on the air. We're going to have an awesome episode. I don't know what we're going to do. We'll try to come up with something special for you guys. Maybe talk about a new release, maybe give out a couple of keys. It's not going to be a big blowout.
Big cake, maybe?
We're not going to do a big blowout, but it'll be a fun special episode again on what's going to be a very special day for me. Then, we're going to go to bed. We're going to wake up. Mash is going to go on QTC and give away a Quest 2. He's going to give away Quest 2 to someone who is in the live chat. We will know that night who won, and if they're not in the chat, they won't win.
Are you kidding me? That guy never claimed it, Mash? Oh my God, dude. We were joking about that. This guy, we were hoping, we were praying, whoever you are out there, we feel bad for you, but I feel better for everybody else that was paying attention.
Yeah, it's back up for grabs, and I've decided I'm going to repopulate the entire wheel. So I'm not even going to take the old wheel and just keep going until I find somebody. Repopulating the entire wheel from whoever is there this Thursday, because you have to be there to win it. Because if you're not there and you're not there to say yes, I'll take it, I'll just keep making D roll it until we find somebody.
Hey, Mash, dude, Jim Hall last night was a savior for D. I don't know if she told you or not, or if you heard yet, but we were streaming on Twitch, and Jim came in and he said that he's going to write a program that's going to automatically grab all those things out of the chat for her, and she's just going to have to kind of manage it and not have to manually type it all in there anymore. Isn't that awesome?
Hell yeah. Who doesn't love Jim Hall?
I know, Jim Hall's awesome.
Yeah, I love Jim Hall. But that's not all we're going to have on Thursday either, is it, Eric? Because you're going to have a very special announcement that you're going to make on Thursday, which is something that's very cool, and I can't wait till you're able to share that with people. It's going to be a great day.
Yeah, it's just super exciting. I can't wait. Can't have some amazing news to share with everybody, and yeah, it's going to be amazing. I just want to share it. I want to share it right now if I could, man, because it's got me jumping through my skin. But yeah, it's going to be something a lot of fun, and everybody's going to be able to enjoy in. So it's going to be really cool.
Couple reasons to be there, for sure.
Yeah. So again, to recap, it's our birthday. For our birthday, I'm going to start a new gig with Brian Paul over on PSVR Without Pro. I'm getting Moss Book 2. Mash is giving away a Quest 2 and making an awesome announcement that is incredible. You guys are going to be blown away. Ruuts, it's our birthday, and everything's coming together all at the same time. I mean, Skiva and Alex are now upload correspondents. I'm going to be a co-host on Without Parole. Eric's got his thing, which is awesome too. We're blowing up as a community, right?
That's awesome. All these communities are coming together, and all these people in it are awesome. And one thing that I just saw, so apparently I started a movement with the hashtag Give Scion our Quest 2, because Spry Guy just said if he wins, he's giving it to Scion as well. So now Scion's got 3 chances with me and Spry and himself. 4 chances. Oh God.
What? No way. I should put my name on the wheel so I could get a chance in there.
Well, I told Wyatt, I was like, look, we need a third headset. I understand. But you know that if I win that, I can't keep it, right? Like if you win it, like if she wins it, fine, we can keep it.
That's different.
But if I win it, that's a little weird, especially being that it's coming from our friends at Alvo. They didn't buy that headset that I could have a third one. So obviously I can't keep it. And if everybody says that Scion deserves it, guess what? Well, then Scion deserves it. So if I win, then it goes to Scion. If wife wins, if Isabel or anybody else wins, then it's theirs to do what they wish. But Scion, bro, you're coming into the meta ecosystem, whether you like it or not.
And I'll still buy the lenses if he gets it.
There you go. Boom.
That's good. So
anyway, it's going to be an exciting week. You guys, if you haven't subscribed already, hit the button, hit the bell. And by the way, description down below, if you guys want to enter to win that quest, you'll find a link to the Q2C Facebook group, as well as the Q2C YouTube channel. They can win at either place, right, Eric?
I think I'm just going to keep it to the wheel. I think I'm just going to keep it to the wheel that night. I was gonna populate it and do it in both places, but I think we'll just keep it to that night. I'll just start a brand new wheel with D on Thursday night.
Okay, but the entrance to get on that wheel, what do people need to do?
You can
Show up.
Yeah, so you show up. You can enter on both places because there will be a post tomorrow that you can get in to enter, and then you can go to the original YouTube. You can go to that night, and you can enter as being in live in chat that night too. So yeah.
So as long as so you enter, and it doesn't matter which chat you're in, as long as you're in one of them, you'll get your prize.
Yeah, you can be in YouTube, you can be Facebook, you can be in Twitch. Doesn't matter where you are. You can get in. You can get it and win it. Just gotta be present.
So again, the
Claim
links, it's all linked up in the description down below. I made over the channel a few days ago and just plastered your YouTube channel everywhere. So like it's on our homepage now. Like the Facebook was already up everywhere, but it kind of slipped my mind that as your guys' YouTube channel grow, that I should probably put it out there. So not only is it in our description rundown now on all of our, I think I went back 2 or 3 weeks, but it's also on the Virtual Strangers channel page, and I may even be up in the social bar as well. But you're everywhere now, bro. We've got you linked up everywhere, and it's really easy to enter, guys. So if you don't have a headset, or if you just need another one, or if you just think Scion should have one, be sure to show up on Thursday. It's not just about that, though. There's going to be a cool announcement as well. A great week. A fitting 3rd anniversary, Ruuts. What do you think?
I think it sounds amazing. And Traveling Man says a good point. He says you got to be subscribed as well. So subscribe to the Q2C VR Gamer channel, and then you'll be there, and you're good to go. And Onakazi says Ruuts don't have a movement on camera. You'll get demonetized. And I agree 100%. I that talk about inappropriate 100%. But I'm not even going to go there. Never mind. We'll leave it there.
My mom.
Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and start wrapping this up here because we are starting to run a little bit long. Just for the record, get out there and wish list the game, guys. Support your local game dev. My wish list game this week is going to be Mothergunship because obviously it's the greatest game of all time. How could I not have it on my wish list? Viveport, guys, Viveport report this week. Wanderer is now part of Viveport Infinity. Eric and I, we were just talking a couple of days ago, or at least chatting about how this might be the game of the year so far, right?
It's mine for sure. Yeah, for sure. So far.
You need to get back in there, Ruuts. Finish this thing up.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
AJ was streaming it the other night. That's why we were talking about it. But yeah,
really?
That's right.
So good. Yeah.
All the jank's gone, right?
I think a good amount of it is.
Man. Yeah, I don't know. We're not talking after the fall levels of jank here.
That's true. That's true. I mean, honestly, with the exception of that one thing of jank that I ran into, I haven't had any other problems. So
yeah. So an amazing game, probably my game of the year. But there's been so many games. I'm sure I'm overlooking one or two. So that's what the Patreon meetup at the end of the year is for, and we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. A lot of year left. Moss Book 2 coming out this week might just upend everything. And Hitman was pretty good too. So anyway, last reminder, this week and every week, you can support our channel. We already mentioned it. Subscribe, ring the bell, click the things. This is the easiest and best way that you can help us to grow and continue, to progress and doing what we're doing here. So it's getting to be a lot of fun these days, and that's all because of you guys. We really appreciate it. If you want to do something more, all you got to do is go to Patreon, and there's a link for that down there as well. $3 per week, or per month rather. $3 per month, still just $3 a month. All we ask, you get weekly show notes that are fully linked and sourced. You get insider updates. For example, I just did one a couple days ago letting people know about the without parole stuff before AJ, I'm sorry, before Brian announced it, before I told anybody on Discord. The patrons knew first, and you get exclusive content. And by the way, we are taking votes for the patron's choice. Right now, I'm going to do. If you vote for a game, I'm going to get to it. So all the patrons get to tell me what they want me to play for them. I'm going to do a video for them. The ones that get like the most votes, those will be the ones I'll do first. Right now, Saints and Sinners Aftershocks has a couple votes. Lies Beneath has a couple votes, so we'll probably get to those first. But actually, before I even get into the viewer's choice, I think I'm going to do. I am going to play Moss Book 1. I might as well share it with the patrons. So that'll probably be the first or the next exclusive thing I do for you guys. But after that, we're going to go to your request, and they're picking games I want to play. Ruuts, this is awesome.
That is awesome. It's a good way to because sometimes we get frozen. What should I play? Right? What do I want to play? So I think it's really cool. And Spry says downloading Wanderer as we speak, as well as Wolveraza. So in real time, how awesome is that? Because that's an amazing game to be able to play on Viveport. And that's a good reason to have Viveport Infinity, right? If you don't have it. So
there I can think of nearly 1,000 reasons why you should have Viveport Infinity.
Yeah, absolutely.
972 to be exact.
And
is Marineverse on there?
I don't know, but Tornuffalo is. And if you have not played Tornuffalo, or used to be, they could have removed that by now, but my guess is it's still there forever.
Taco Face.
Taco Face. You got all the we haven't done a best of Viveport in a long time.
Maybe that's what we should do for our birthday. Maybe we should do best of Viveport. This we'll do some, we'll pick a new release. Knock, Televinagra. We need to get some on some of these March. We'll do a quick segment on a new release. We'll do a best of Viveport, and then we'll throw a few keys to the chat. People who show up, stay up late to celebrate with us. How's that sound?
Sounds really good.
I'm in. Let's do it.
All right. Absolutely. And with that said, friends, I'd like to thank you all once again for watching. For my friends Ruuts and Eric, I'm Wes. I'll see you very soon and often. Bye now.
Take it easy.
See you later.